What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Blazers Uprise Live. We got basketball back. The gang is back together. We finally have a sense of normalcy in terms of Blazers Uprise because we actually get to talk about actual basketball that we actually got to finally witness. It's been a long 4 months. So much has changed in these 4 months that it feels longer than a normal offseason. You know, our offseason last year was about 5 months or so. We ended in late May and began in late October, so that was like a 5-month off season. That seemed far quicker than this 4-month layoff, just because of how, one, unexpected this layoff was, and then two, just how much craziness has gone down in the world, in my life. You know, just so much stuff wrapped up in the 4 months that, man, it's just completely different universe, completely different. I was a completely different person 4 months ago, you know, so it's just kind of crazy to be back talking about Blazer basketball. But we're going to give you guys a good rundown of everything we noticed from the scrimmage today. It was just a scrimmage, you know, it wasn't an actual game, so I didn't put too much stock into the outcome, but we will discuss the players we thought looked good, we'll discuss the players we thought looked bad, and we'll give a rundown on every single player. We'll also talk about potential starting lineups at the start of the season, because me, Eric, and Casey Holt all got into it on Twitter today, and it was just basically over a debate of who the Blazers are going to start next to Nurkic and Melo. Is it going to be Whiteside or is it going to be Collins? So we'll talk a little bit about that and what we think about that. We'll talk about Melo's, weight loss. We have a lot to get to, so I expect to be able to talk about basketball for a really long time, which is just awesome, because for months there, we had to scratch the bottom of the barrel. I would message Eric like, man, can you please help me find a topic for the stream? That happened on multiple occasions. And normally it was pretty difficult sometimes. I'm sure you remember that. So yeah. I'm glad to be back in the swing of things.
What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing tonight in chat? It's nice to see some new people here, Kevin and Brett.
Yeah.
I haven't seen your guys' names in here, so welcome. And what's up, everyone else? Got a lot of regulars in here.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I was about to say we don't have a ton. It doesn't seem like we have a ton of regulars in here. We got a lot of new names, or a lot of people that I haven't seen in a little bit. So I assumed basketball would bring people back. We will do post-game streams for the regular games on Blazers Uprise, at least for an hour and a half. If we decide to stream longer for those streams, we might switch over here at some point. Just because I don't want to stream for too long on that other channel. It's just a YouTube thing. It kind of messes with that channel's performance. So that's why we made the second streaming channel in the first place, for any of those of you who aren't paying attention. But for these scrimmages, we're just going to have like our normal late night streams. We're not going to go live right after the games, but I'm really excited just to have a post-game stream after a game on the main channel, just to see who comes back, because everybody's kind of been laying low during this layoff, and now it's getting back into it.
And yeah, other than, we'll get into the lineup stuff and the Casey Holdall stuff, but I thought for the most part, most of the things were pretty positive about the scrimmage, so it's nice to, A, talk basketball, and B, talk about some positive things that we saw.
Yep. So here's how I think we should do this. Let's first talk about the players we thought played well. Okay, I will toss out a name, we'll talk about them, and then you toss out the next name, and we'll talk about them, then I'll toss out the next name. So
the first name, you better call out the one I'm thinking of first.
Nurkic.
There's one person. Yeah,
I mean, you got to start with Nurkic. I'll take the layup there because that's the easy one to start with. So, man, it was just awesome seeing Nurkic back on a basketball floor. He's been healthy for 4 months. It didn't quite, I don't know. Part of it was the atmosphere, and part of it was like he was ready to go 4 months ago, so it wasn't quite the same feeling.
Right.
But, it would have been different where, he's finally healthy. He's going to play Sunday, which is the day that he was supposed to. He's going to play March 15th. And then he's there in front of the Moda. It wasn't quite that level of comeback, which, does kind of suck, but it was also just awesome just to see him out there on a basketball floor and playing well. He had the first bucket of the game, a nice little, patented, it's his move, that spin to that little, like,
yep.
It's like a half hook, half like push shot.
You can't really stop it as long as he gets the positioning on that spin. Yep.
And the thing is, the
That's
only way
money.
to take away that spin is to play so far to the baseline you give Nurkic the middle. So, so it was nice to see him go to work in the post. His jumper does look better. I will say that. We haven't really talked. I mean, we've talked about his shooting a little bit on some of our previous streams, but you hadn't seen it in a game. I was curious to see how it looked like in a game, and just the rhythm and the flow of his jump shot looks better than how it did a year ago. He had a nice mid-range jumper and had a lot of confidence in it. You could tell because he started backpedaling before it even went in. He also shot a 3 that was barely off, but it looked good. I think he's kind of tweaked his form a little bit, and his form has improved. So would be interested in seeing him shoot a few more 3s in these scrimmages, just because they're scrimmages. Let it fly. Let's see if he can knock down a few. But I did think his jumper looked good.
Yeah, for some reason his shot looks I don't know how to describe it, but it looks more like replicable, if that makes sense. Like, it just seems like it's more fluid instead of his old shot, which was kind of like a nonchalant, just kind of toss it up type of thing. It seems more like stable when he pushes it. So I'm hoping that translates to just more consistency on it. But yeah, if he becomes a threat from the mid range and the 3-point line, that obviously opens up a lot of offense. And you saw what the passing just that he had on. He hit CJ on several cuts, which we'll get to later. But I'd love to see Nurk playing out of the high post, throwing those passes, and then posting them up sometimes too. I think you can just – there's so many things you can do with a big like that. It really opens up the whole offense.
Yeah. I mean, shoot. I'm going to go in depth on what I think he did to his form. I might not be 100% right, but I got my basketball right here ready to go. What he was doing last year, I felt like he was it was more to the side of his head, and not now he kind of moved it more in front of his face. That is my theory number one. So instead of, it's kind of hard to replicate a shot when you're bringing it back here because you're almost like, it's just a lot more tension in your shoulder and arm. And I think that's also why it didn't look as fluid, was because he kind of like, and he had his elbow out, he kind of like shoved it back here next to his head, where now he's a little bit more in front. And then also just more in front of his head and not quite as back next to his head. Just that's the change I think he made. It would be interesting to compare film of the two. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but feels like it's just more in front of his face, more kind of like lined up, and that's why it's more of a fluid one-motion shot compared to him kind of jamming it back next to his head like he was last year. So that is my theory. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of what I noticed.
Yeah. Sounds good to me. I mean, I don't know exactly. It's kind of weird because it doesn't look a whole lot different. It just looks more stable.
Yeah, I think it was just a slight tweak in a set point. That's all it took, and a slight I can't talk all of a sudden. A slight tweak like that can do wonders for your shot. You know what I mean? Because it's just a little less time. Instead of bringing it all the way back, you get it here, you shoot. So little tweaks like that can go a long way.
Also having a year and a half to work on it.
True. I also wonder if his arms being skinnier makes it look better, because his arms have always been kind of flabby. His arms look more toned than they ever have. I don't know. I mean, I'm just spitballing here. That might make his jump shot look better just because his arms are more fit. Let me know what you guys think about Nurkic's jump shot form and how it looks down in the comment section or in chat. This isn't a video. This is a live stream. Let me know in chat. But yeah, he just looked like Nurk, you know what I mean? That's something that I liked, and that's part of a product of being healthy for months before this and practicing a lot. He's practicing before the season got shut down, and then he was in the practice facility during this layoff, and then the practices, leading up to the scrimmage. He got a lot of time to get in game-like reps, so he didn't really look that rusty, which was cool. So I'm hoping that he's ready to hit the ground running. And he's not going to have that adjustment period where he's going to have to knock off rust.
He was definitely tired. You could tell he's not in actual game shape. It's totally different when you get in there. And a lot of that was probably, he had to be super amped up to actually be playing in a game. And he even mentioned in the post game that Just how much hype he had for the tip off. He was like, "Oh my god, I'm playing a game," afterwards. Um, and so that can take your breath away if you're a little too amped up sometimes. But yeah, once he gets into shape, I have a feeling he's gonna far outperform, because I wasn't expecting him this season to give us anything. Like I always thought if he did anything, it would be a bonus. But now that we had like an extra long layoff and there's a lot of players that are rusty, not just people coming back from injury, it's pretty much everyone is in the same boat. Like I think that gives Nurk an advantage to play closer to his true form versus if he would have just came back in March.
Yeah, and as you said, he did look tired, but I thought everybody kind of looked tired. You know what I mean?
Right.
That kind of goes in with that. Everybody has to get back into game shape. I will say this: he was playing 10 minutes in a row.
Right,
so I think the smart thing to do in the regular season games is to maybe play him 8, then sub him out, and then play him like 6 or 7 at the end of each half, and that way you can get him to like 28 a game. If you played him for 7 at the start and 7 at the end of each half, you'd get him to 28 minutes a game, which is about what he played before he got hurt. So 7 minutes in a row is a lot easier than 10. Like, it's tough to play. Even a big guy who's in game shape, it's tough for big guys to play 10 minutes in a row. So that was part of it. And honestly, I like Stotts playing him for 10 minutes in a row the whole entire first and third quarter, because they're 10 minutes instead of 12. I like Stotts doing that just to maybe get him back into game shape a little bit, instead of resting him when he needs it, make him fight through the fatigue.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and this isn't a knock on Whiteside, but like there's just so many little things on the court that Nurk does that don't show up in like a box score and stuff like that. Whether it's the way he's already thinking about where he's passing to when he gets a rebound, or like an off-ball screen, or just his spacing on the floor. It's just so much better. It's like he's such a smart player. Like he knows what the game is. He's always trying to like make the people around him better. Like you can tell he just wants the offense to run smoothly. He's not a guy who's like, oh, I need my turn on the block. Like, give me my points, And it's so much different to have guys like that. His screens on ball and off ball are just tremendous. We already knew that, but and just the way he rebounds, and it's just a different style. It's hard to say it's like better. It's just smarter, I think, the way he plays.
I think his rebounding is better than Whiteside's. It's not reflecting his rebounding numbers, but he goes and gets the ones that he needs to go and get, and then he doesn't chase his teammates off him. He actually boxes out, which is something that's been a complaint of me for Whiteside. Another thing of note, probably the last thing of note on Nurkic, he did pick up 4 fouls in under 20 minutes. Which is something that I don't like to see. And honestly, like, some of the calls were ticky-tack, but this goes into kind of a bigger issue, and I'll tease this. We can maybe discuss it a little bit later. Starting Dame, CJ, and Melo at the 1, 2, and 3, you're going to have a lot of guys driving at Nurkic, and even if he plays good defense, if you have enough times where Nurkic has to protect the rim, he's going to pick up some bang-bang foul calls, even if he plays good defense. And I think that was kind of shown in the scrimmage, with him picking up those 4 fouls in under 20 minutes. Zach picked up a couple. Like, with how bad the perimeter defenses of Dame, CJ, and Melo, I'm really worried about our bigs picking up foul trouble. Even if they play good defense, it's still something that they could end up having to deal with.
Yeah, I completely agree. Did you hear on the one, the mics picked up him yelling, "Ball don't lie," really loud? That was funny.
I love that.
And then Mello fan mentions we had a F out of here by Mello. That was very audible.
Honestly, it was very audible in the arenas, like,
yeah.
God, I'd love to be able to hear even more of what they're saying. I thought the players would be a little bit louder, and we can also discuss we haven't really talked about the court setup and all that and the atmosphere. We got our first look at it the past couple days with these games. We can talk about that after we discuss these players. But yeah, Nurkic looked good. It was nice to see him back. Just love seeing him back on the court. At the end of each player, we'll check to see if we want to reply to anything in chat. We are reading chat. Even if we don't reply, doesn't mean we're not reading chat. We're doing our best giving you guys this analysis while also listening to the other person, which sometimes I struggle with when Eric's talking, just because it's easy to get lost in chat. And I am a little rusty at dealing with a chat that's popping, and this chat's popping a little bit compared to what we've had. So it's good to see, man. I love it. Yeah, so you're next tossing out players if you just want to go ahead and toss one out.
Yeah, let's talk about Zach then, too.
Okay.
Coming back. So Zach, I thought, also played very well. He had a sweet post-up move. He had a sweet pass out of the post to a cutting CJ. Played very solid defense. Like you said, our perimeter defense is such a problem that it puts a lot of pressure on both Zach and Nurk. So kind of nervous about that. But overall, Zach's another one of those guys who, one, he plays way better with the starters than if he's like playing with crappier players. And this is why I'm in favor of I mean, we'll get to this in a minute, but this is why I'm in favor of playing players that are complementary to Damon CJ in the starting lineup versus playing the best players. And that's because a guy like Zach also does a ton of little things on the floor. And you don't need him to go out and score 20 points or necessarily grab like 15 rebounds or whatever. You just need guys like that who do the, like, get physical with someone, intimidate people from getting in the paint, cut off a cut or a drive, and make the other team think twice about running that play because they think Zach's going to be there waiting for him. And there's a lot of those things that people just look at, oh, he averages 8 points and 4 rebounds. He sucks, And they don't realize that you need players like that are glue and just they're always where you need them to be. They know the offense. They're never out of place. They never have a turnover to where it's because they messed up the play or something like that. It's always because they tried to make a pass and it didn't work out. But it's always like the right decision, even if it's not executed correctly. I just love Zach and Nurk both were just always in the right spot in this game, and to be off for that long and to come in and play in a game where it's that obvious at how smart of a basketball player you are. I just thought that was really encouraging for both of them.
Yeah. It's just instinct, guys have that, just that instinct, know where to be, that basketball IQ. The generational, we'll talk about that after we get through the players. We'll talk about just other various stuff, but we're doing a player by player breakdown right now. So Zach, man, he, that post move is beautiful. Going to his left to the middle. I would have liked to see him shoot a little bit. He didn't really shoot, That's the thing I noticed is, you've seen Zach and Nurkic hitting threes in practice, and not just shooting around, actually in the flow, playing 5-on-5 in practice. So I thought they'd maybe look for more threes. It was almost like they didn't even, look to pick and pop or didn't look to spot up from three at all, which I thought that was kind of interesting. I figured, Zach would get a spot up three, it's probably just a coincidence, a fluke thing, but I thought that was kind of interesting. I would have liked to see him shoot. Zach's just, that's the thing is Zach played like Zach, he does look a little bit stronger. I think just watching the way he's played, I've watched him play since Gonzaga, so I've seen him a ton, just because I'm a huge Gonzaga fan, and he just seemed more solid in terms of his base. So he had that dislocated shoulder. I feel like he probably put in a lot of work on strengthening his legs and his lower body, which is an underrated thing when it comes to being a good big man. And he just looked like his balance was better and his just foundational base was better. Just thinking back to even the start of this season, if he did that move where he spun baseline and then spun back middle to his left, by the time he's shooting the ball, he probably would have been off balance. a year ago or at the start of the season. But I think he's made improvement to his base and kept his balance there. And that's the thing that I think he's needed to do, because he has great footwork. He has a good feel for post-ups, but he gets pushed around a little too easily. And then also he just ends up off balance way too much. And that's a product of a weak base. So, I'm going to be looking for that in the future just to see, how much better it looks. But I thought it looked better today.
Yeah, and we'll get to the rest of the starting lineup in a minute, but it's different to me when Zach and Nurk post up versus like Melo, because I feel like when Zach and Nurk post up, it's like within the offense or like part of the offense, and when Melo posts up, I feel like we're forcing, like he just needs a touch and needs to get a shot, and not that that's necessarily a bad thing, because Melo is a good scorer, but I just kind of wish we would focus our offense more around Zach and Nurk, freeing up the guards versus trying to force the small forward to do it as well. And that's why I'm in favor of the spacing that a three-point shooter like Gary Trent would provide versus Melo in the starting.
Yeah, it does feel weirder posting up Melo when he's at small forward compared to power forward. I think also a part of that feeling is, Nurkic or Collins will make the right play. They're not just posting up the score. They'll pass it out if they need to, or they'll, make the right pass to a cutter if it's available. When Melo gets the ball, it almost just seems like, okay, we know Melo's shooting. The other four can just start running back on defense or try and get in position for a rebound. So, yeah, it's just crazy how much different the post-ups feel from Melo compared to Zach and Nurkic. I guess we'll quickly touch on Melo. There was really not much to say about Melo, I feel like. He did look quicker. He is going to be quicker because he lost weight.
Yeah.
But, defensively he looked quicker, but it wasn't in situations where he was sliding laterally. I don't know. I was looking for it. There wasn't a whole lot of situations where, he seemed to be sliding laterally.
Yeah, it was hard to tell because they didn't really try to pick on him or anything.
Yeah.
And they had some weird lineups.
Yeah, so in terms of his rotations, they looked solid, even though he's still a guy who I feel like, given how long he's played, should recognize when to start rotating a little quicker. But he did run a guy off the three-point line. He did have a good rotation to a guy in the corner. TJ Warren ended up scoring on the play because he had to leave Warren and go guard the guy in the corner. But he got there, got a hand up. The ball got swung to his man. Zach Collins had a bad closeout, and TJ Warren scored. So Warren was kind of going off early on, which that was Melo's assignment. But Warren wasn't going off because of Melo. He had a jump shot that he hit because of he was ISO'd against Nurkic. He had an isolation against Nurkic, and then that play where Collins closed out on him. Just plays like that. So you can't really tell how a player does defensively just by looking at, how their matchup does offensively, because a lot of times you'll get cross-matched and that sort of thing. He had a nice drive. I wish he would stop settling for mid-range pull-ups. They're just not an efficient shot for him anymore. And the NBA has kind of gone away from it, and for good reason, It's just, he doesn't hit enough of them. He had that turnaround over Brogdon, but, I just want him to be a guy who just shoot the three or try and get to the rim. I think he would be so much more efficient if that's just how he played. And it's he had one drive early on where he drove surprisingly quick. He's skinnier, so he's quicker now. And he drove quick and got to the rim and got a layup inside because of it. So I just wish Melo wouldn't settle for mid-range.
I think he got to the line one time doing that too.
Yeah, I wish Melo wouldn't settle for mid-range. That post up against Brogdon, I know he hit that turnaround, but it's bro, you're 6'8", Brogdon's 6'5", you got a 3-inch advantage. Just try and get to the rim, or pump fake that turnaround. Guys might jump at it, you might be able to get to the line. I just wish he was a little less in love with the mid-range shot.
And this is why I've been saying all along that I think Melo's would be best utilized off the bench, because we saw how much the second unit struggled on offense. And just imagine just being able to give it to Melo and let him do that with the second unit. I feel like that's so much – that would bring out his strength so much more than trying to force him when you have Dame and CJ and Collins and Nurk on the floor with him. I feel like like it would be a million times better posting him up and shooting those mid range. I wouldn't even care if he's shooting that if he's with the second unit. Whereas a guy like Gary Trent, I feel like he's starting to get better as a shot creator, but I don't feel like he can like be relied on to just be like, here, go score the ball like Melo can. Yeah. So like when he's playing with the second unit, I feel like his skills aren't being used properly either. So like if you have Gary Trent with the starters and he's in the corner spotting up for three as a plus 40% 3-point shooter, then you can kick it out to him. Mm-hmm. You can run stuff inside between Nurk and Zach, and you don't have to worry about Melo being anywhere in there. But yeah, so like it's nothing bad against Melo. I just feel like he would mesh perfectly with that second unit, and Trent would be perfect with the starters. But
as you said,
it's not going to happen. But
with how bad that second unit was offensively, I wouldn't care if Melo shot a ton of mid range with that unit. You know, they needed somebody to just go up and try and get an okay shot. Because that second unit was brutal. I mean, we'll get into that at the end of this, our players, because there was a couple guys that I thought were just rough. Yeah, there's mostly one, and we'll get into it. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. Probably do. But just segueing into Gary Trent, man. The way he played just made me bummed that they're not going to start him. You know? He had a couple shots that he hit that were so difficult that he made look easy. Yeah. That just made me say, like, dude, this dude is... I like what I see. That snatch back behind the back step back, he made that shot look easy. That's not an easy shot. You know, I mean, I've hit a couple of those in my day. You know, in my rec league days. Rest in peace to my rec league. I need my basketball back. But bro, like, but that's a shot that I worked on tirelessly, and I ain't hitting against NBA talent, obviously. Like, I'm just bringing up my experience with it because I know how tough it is to make that move. You know, that's a hard move, that wrap around behind the back, stepping back behind the three-point line. That's hard to do and maintain your balance and have balance going into your shot. Because a lot of times you end up, you know, your balance will be shifting backwards and it's hard to maintain it. Like, it's just hard to stop on a dime like that, snatch it back, step back, get your balance, and just make a move like that. And the fact that he made it so smooth and so easily was very impressive. That layup he had where he kind of drove from left to right across the lane and kind of had his back to the rim and like flipped it up over his left shoulder and got the and one. That finish was the most impressive finish I've ever seen him make. That was such a, like, he made that shot look easier than it was too. Like he was basically turned away from the rim, falling down, and flicked it up over his shoulder and finished it. You know, that's the type of stuff I love to see from Gary Trent. He's just evolving in terms of his shot making. You know, he's looked at as primarily a 3-point shooter, but his ball handling's gotten better, and it kind of just reminds me of Wesley Matthews back in the day when he was brought in to be kind of 3-and-D guy, and then he started shooting step backs, doing post up, having tough finishes. So I'm excited. I don't know if you want to talk about any of those shots before I go more on them.
So this kind of leads into my point that I was going to make, and that's, I felt like watching him today that I felt myself wondering how he would be with a legitimate passing point guard playing with him. Mm-hmm. So like, because I mean, like you said, he made all these tough shots, but like imagine him getting like wide open shots because we have a point guard who can penetrate and kick out to him and stuff like that.
Or you have a center like Nurkic who can pass the ball. You know what I mean? You got threats on the court next to him, and he can shoot open spot up threes. 100%. I agree with that. I just wanted to make a point based off the shot making. The reason why that shot making is encouraging and makes me wish we were starting him is because oftentimes teams will try and hide a guy on the small forward. You know, their worst perimeter defender, they'll hide on like a Harkless in the past. With Gary Trent Jr. just improving in terms of his off-the-dribble shot-making and playmaking, he's the type of guy who I think at this point could actually punish teams for trying to hide a guy on him if he played with the starters.
And that makes everyone else's job that much easier.
Mm-hmm. And his, bro, he D'd up Victor Oladipo. He D'd up, like, it's so frustrating because a lot of time, the argument has been, oh, he's too undersized to play small forward, right? I disagree. He's strong. He plays bigger than his size. He battles. I think he has enough size to play small forward. But regardless, a lot of times in the past, we had our small forward guard a good opposing guard. So we'd have our small forward guard a Victor Oladipo, Oh, dude, it's just like with the teams we're going to play, John Morant, James Harden, guys like that. I really want Gary Trent Jr. in the starting lineup just to defend those guys because he abused Victor Oladipo. We're talking about a former All-Star, right? You got Gary Trent Jr. here, second-year player. Ripped the ball away from him, got all hyped, like flexing and stuff. Just his defensive attitude and motor and ability is just something I wish was going to be, I don't want to be negative, but I just wish it was in that starting lineup because that's the perfect type of player we need.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, it's just, I just want to see him get cleaner looks. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like he's going to get that if he plays with the second unit, but
I mean,
I'm hoping they leave him out there enough to, if he's having a good game, know that in crunch time he's going to be on the floor, and it's not necessarily about who starts, it's who finishes, the old saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully we see that. Obviously today they did more of a whole lineup switch when they did their lineups, although they did mix it a little bit in the third quarter. But for the most part, it was like a 5-for-5 substitution pattern.
So we would get better
assuming
looks.
It'll be a lot. Yeah, it'll be a lot different once the season starts.
Yeah, because he'd be playing next to Dame or CJ. If he plays honestly, at this point, I think he might get all the backup guard minutes. So I'll expand on that in a little bit. So he should be playing next to one of Dame or CJ. And then also next to Whiteside, So it should be easier on him than it was today, where he was playing next to Gabriel, Simons, Hazonia. I don't even remember who else was on the court. I'm blanking. Horde. So I don't want him to, feel too much pressure to try and do too much off the dribble. I want him to be aggressive and confident like he was today, but not trying to force the issue because nobody can get anything going. Hopefully that won't be the case when you have a guy like Dame or CJ and a guy like, Whiteside off the bench. Assuming, Dame and CJ stagger and play with the bench is what I assume will happen, not actually come off the bench. But I loved what I saw at Gary Trent Jr. I'm a huge fan of him, and I've loved watching him develop over the past year. And honestly, at this point, I'm gonna have a hot take here. He is the best wing on this team right now. You have the guards, you have Dame and CJ, right? Those guards. You have our bigs. You got Nurkic, Whiteside, and Collins. In terms of Ariza, Hood, Melo, whatever other wings, Nasir, Mario, Gary Trent Jr. is better than all of them, in my opinion, at this point, just because of what he can do defensively. I would take him over Ariza at this point. I would take him over a healthy Rodney Hood at this point.
Yeah, I don't think I go that far, but he's definitely improved a lot.
I mean, yeah. Let me know what you guys think in chat. I don't think Rodney Hood is like a 50% three-point shooter, right? I know he was killing it at the start of this year. I think, but it was far, far better than he had played his whole career, so he was probably due to regress to the mean.
You're getting coverage.
I think Gary Trent Jr. is better, man. Y'all have to agree with me. I think fans are a little bit they saw what Hood did at the start of this year. If Hood was the guy that we saw this season for the 19 games or whatever he played, then that Hood is better than Gary Trent Jr. is now, but I think he was overachieving. I think he was playing a little bit above his head, I did not think Rodney Hood was going to be like a 50-50 guy, 50 from the field, 50 from three.
His percentages weren't that good or as good as they were this year, but I thought he played really well for us last year too. So it's not like it was just the stretch this year. I mean, he had a huge stretch last year.
He did.
Even won us a playoff game.
And I'd take him offensively over Trent. It's just like I think Trent is so much better defensively, and that's not even a shot at Hood. Like Hood's like an okay-ish defender, I guess. Trent is so much better defensively. Like I think that Trent is better than him at this point. So I don't know why that's even a hot take, Like, I get disagreeing with it. I don't understand why that's a hot take, to be honest.
I think Hood's just a little more proven. But yeah, you never know about coming back from the injury.
I mean, Hood's definitely more proven, but I don't know. I got good vibes. I like what I see out of Trent. And I'm a guy who hated that pick when we made it. I hated that trade. I graded that pick an F. All right. So it's not like I'm just like biased towards Gary Trent Jr. You know what I mean? Like, you guys know I call it how it is. I'm willing to admit my mistakes. You know, not liking that pick was a mistake, right? Eric didn't like it either, but we think on the same wavelength with that. We didn't like, giving up the 2 second-round picks. Now it looks like a steal. I didn't like how much we gave up to get Gary Trent Jr. I wasn't super high on him coming out of the draft, and now I'm fully on the bandwagon, the Gary Trent Jr. bandwagon. So I think he's the best wing on this team right now. I thought people would argue Ariza is better than Trent. I thought that would be more of an argument in here, not just Hood. But I'm happy to make a take that not many people agree with.
If we're just talking like from now on, starting at small forward, I would put Trent third between Ariza and Hood and Trent. If we're talking
Ariza
about just like for the future, who could be the better long-term player? Yeah, obviously Trent's a lot younger than those guys, so he's got. Especially Ariza. Ariza is really old, but
I would.
He's
keep,
more of like a maybe 1 year more.
Yeah,
option.
I would keep Ariza in the starting lineup if we still had him, just because he has that bigger size, so he's just a better matchup. In terms of just who's the best player, I think it goes Trent, Hood, Ariza. I think that's how it goes. I think they're all very close. But I think that's how it goes. I could see a debate for any one of those 3 guys being our best wing right now. I don't think it's crazy to put Trent up there. Everybody's saying I'm tripping and stuff. I don't think it's that crazy. Hopefully I'm not crazy. But
I love all the trolls saying Mario.
We'll get to Mario.
No, I mean, they're saying Mario's the second best or best.
Yeah, just because he played well today. Well, I mean, we'll get to Mario. We've gone through the starting lineup. Dame and CJ Dame didn't shoot the ball well. It took some players some time to adjust to that court. I feel like, all these screens around and the depth perception was probably something new to them. It's probably not the same as a normal NBA arena. So I think it just took guys. It's going to take guys a little bit to get used to that court. So like Dame shooting bad, I don't care about.
And this is why Dame is a great leader. He knew it was Nurk and Collins' first game back. He knew Melo was playing a different position, and he made sure those guys got touches, got into the flow of the game, got into the flow of the offense. And that's a true leader and a true point guard right there when you don't really care about yourself. You just want your team to get the most out of the scrimmage today. And I think that he really achieved that despite him not really doing much stat-wise. Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that. CJ, just want to talk about his cutting. Because
he got rim checked hard, but it was a beautiful
I like that he
cut.
tried to. It's a scrimmage. Try and throw it down. Nurkic threw a dime and complete the highlight. Throwing it down like that would have been sick. So if I was him, I would have gone for that dunk too. It was. I like that he laughed it off too. That was funny.
It's one thing that so CJ's the type that when he's going ISO and stuff, he takes a lot of really tough shots, and he's good at hitting them. But if he can start, because if you include that dunk, he had a drive on a Collins post or a cut on a Collins post up that resulted in a wide open lay-in. He had a backdoor cut from a pass from Nurk, in addition to the missed dunk that he had a layup on. And that's 3 easy buckets. And if you start adding those like 6 points a game, or like even if it's just a couple a game, his efficiency is going to go through the roof. And you start to talk about a scorer getting easy baskets like that, and then you get a lot more confidence when you do go into those ISO situations late in the game as well. I just think I love to see the movement off the ball, whether it's CJ or anyone who does it. And I think with this team, there's passing now from pretty much every position. They're smart players. And I just think the more movement, the better the offense will be.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is, with a lot of these cuts, if he's catching the ball, off a pass while he's cutting and he's 10 to 15 feet away from the rim, he doesn't even have to, take a lane, if there's somebody inside, those can turn into easy step back mid-range shots for him, which, he loves his mid-range. Instead of going one-on-one and having a contested step back mid-range, he can maybe get his mid-range going, just cutting, catching the ball, around 10 to 15 feet. And, if there's traffic inside, instead of catching it and going into the traffic, he can catch it and start stepping back while he catches it and shoot open mid-range shots, or just kind of like utilize that space. I hope he has actually made this a point of emphasis with his game to just get better at moving off the ball and cutting, because we're just way too stagnant. So that would be something that would help out not only him, just our offense as a whole.
And also, so you saw it with Dame one time where he got into the paint and left it for Collins for an easy dunk. Mm-hmm. So if we have like Collins and Nurk in the game, and Nurk is the one passing to CJ on a drive, and you have Collins hanging around the baseline, if CJ gets collapsed on, he just has an easy dump pass for a dunk then on the backside. There's lots of little wrinkles you can do into that, and that's why I've always been in favor of sets and more ball movement with this offense versus just going ISO, because I feel like we have the personnel that could really exploit a lot of teams with off the ball movement.
Yep, that's exactly what I was about to say. That's why we've been asking for this type of basketball. It's easy to just resort to an ISO. If somebody's hot, okay, go ahead and ISO CJ if he's hot and it's working. We rode that to a Game 7 win to get us to a Western Conference Finals. But there are a lot of times where, one of the guys isn't hot, or they're going up against a Kawhi Leonard type of defender, or it's just, for whatever reason, the isolation, the pick and roll isn't working. We need to be able to, do this type of stuff. We need to be able to move off the ball. We need to be able to cut. We need to be able to hit cutters with the pass and then play off of that. And that has honestly been one of my two biggest critiques of Terry Stotts, is that, you don't need to practice running pick and roll all the time. You don't need to practice running isolations all the time. That stuff's just, it comes with the territory. It's not something you really have to work on. It's basically just a 2-man game or a 1-man game, right? Should be working on this type of basketball, working on getting CJ to move off the ball, and just different types of, being able to freelance or being able to run certain sets that kind of get you into the flow of things where the ball's moving, guys are moving, everything is just, working well, instead of just the stagnant stuff that we tend to see too much.
Yep, completely agree.
So I'm hoping that's the type of basketball we get. It's easier to get that type of basketball when you have Collins and Nurkic in the front court than Melo and Whiteside, so it's not all on Stotts' coaching. It's some of his personnel and just guys knowing how to play off each other, and guys that don't just isolate. And Whiteside is obviously isn't the passer that Nurkic is in terms of hitting cutters and that type of thing.
Be right back.
Yep. So I'll catch up with chat until Eric's back. Do you see Stotts' quote after the game about really wanting to start Hassan next to Nurkic? Yeah, he wanted to start Hassan next to Nurkic just to see what it looks like. And I have no problem with that in the scrimmage, all right? I've been on the record. I do not want to see Nurkic start next to Hassan. I don't even really want to see Nurkic play next to Hassan. Maybe it can work for a couple minutes each half, and that way you can get Hassan enough minutes to be happy coming off the bench. But I don't even really want to go in. I don't want to go on Casey Holdall a lot this stream, and I don't want to do it without Eric, because Eric was the one who Casey got all butthurt at on Twitter. But Casey Holdall was talking about how he expects that to be the thing during the 8-game restart. He expects Hassan to start next to Nurkic, and nothing says that at all. That speculation was awful. It was off base. Stotts wanted to start Hassan next to Nurkic just to get a look. Get a look with that lineup with Melo, Hassan, and Nurkic. And for a scrimmage, I say do it. Let's just see what it looks like. Throw it out there. It's a scrimmage. Why not? There's no point to not try some wacky stuff in a scrimmage, because it's just a scrimmage. You're not really trying to win the game. It's the same way in the preseason too. Before seasons, like, experiment, try some stuff, see what stuff looks like. Try and come up with different ideas, throw stuff in there. And just see if that's something that might be able to stick during the regular season, or in this case, during the 8-game restart. So I had no problem with the concept of Stotts starting Nurkic and Hassan together today. I will have a problem with it if it's something that happens during the 8-game restart, though, but I don't expect it to happen. It's pretty much been implied that Collins and Nurkic will start together in the front court.
I just caught the end of that.
Yep. Now, you know what I'm talking about. Your opinions on that. Somebody just brought up how Stotts said he was planning on starting Hassan and Nurkic today. Do you want to talk? Do you even want to go in on Casey Holdall, or do you want to take the high road?
No, let's go in on it.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This Stotts' comment after the game, first of all, is aggravating to me. The scrimmages is when you need to experiment. Yes, I completely agree with that. I don't mind if they want to do that a little bit. But Nurk and Collins haven't played together much either. Neither of them have played with Melo either. You need some time, if that's going to be your starting lineup, for them to get used to playing with each other first. That should be the top priority. If you know your starting lineup, stick with it and get them some minutes together so they can get accustomed to playing with each other. And so, I mean, we only have 2 more games for them to get used to it. You can't waste time with the starting lineup being like, oh, let's try Nurk and Whiteside. So I have no problem doing it. Like, if you wanted to bring Whiteside in a few minutes into the game and see how he does with it, whatever. But, like, to say you wanted to get a look at it during this game, like, by starting them, like, that doesn't make sense. And it goes back to the last couple of years. I feel like Stotts just, like, refuses to play Collins with Nurk together. And he only did it today because he pretty much had to.
Yeah.
And, like, it just aggravates me because they play so well and they do, like, I can't even remember a time where, like, we played bad as a team when both of those guys are in the game, and it just drives me crazy. So
I will say this to that. I'm not as aggravated about it because Collins, Nurkic, Dame, and CJ all have playing experience with each other over the past couple of years. Hassan and Nurkic have no playing experience next to each other. Collins and Nurkic don't have a ton, but they have a little bit, and they've practiced together for a couple years, and they, we've seen Collins at the 4 a little bit with Dame and CJ. We've seen Nurkic, obviously, with those two. So I think that has a little... I think it showed today. I think that even though Collins hasn't played a ton with Nurk, they know each other's games so well just from being together the past couple years. And both of those guys fit really well with Dame and CJ that I don't think they need a ton of time to get that sorted out. So that's why I don't have as much of a problem with him trying something wackier, which might not work. I do see your point on that, though.
And yeah, so did you mention anything with the Casey Holdall stuff?
I said, I don't want to go in on Casey Holdall until Eric's back because Eric was the one who had the Twitter conversation with him.
So yeah, I want to bring up his exact tweet. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand why people gotta be so pissy. And I'm not even necessarily saying we should bring this up to necessarily talk about him getting all pissy with you. It's more of like what he said that misled a lot of fans that it just doesn't make sense.
It's also, I mean, he said this twice, like, I should have known better than to engage with you guys, or like, I know better now, my bad. Like, why do you have to include those comments? Why? Like, I wasn't the one that turned it into a pissy thing.
Bro,
so.
He's always been like that since before I started doing YouTube. So, I mean, that's just Casey Holdall. I'm not a huge fan of Casey Holdall. Granted, that probably doesn't surprise a lot of you guys. I don't know if there's anybody in local media that I am a huge fan of. Travis Demers, I guess. I guess that's the one guy that I do actually genuinely like. Yeah, I mean, that's just Casey Holdall for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because read the Twitter, because he was talking about how he expects Hassan and Nurkic to start together during the 8-game restart, right? And then what did you say to that?
Oh, he deleted the tweet. Oh man,
did he really? Wow, man.
Yeah.
Wow, bro.
So
did he delete all of them or just the main tweet?
It looks like the main tweet is deleted.
So he realized he was wrong.
I can't find mine.
Which you corrected him on it, and then he got all pissy.
Yeah, I don't know if someone else can find it. But.
You said, because you told him, because he was bringing up about how,
He said that he thinks that Nurk was going to be the starting 4 and Whiteside was going to start at 5. Like once the season starts, and that Zach playing with coming in the first half with the second unit proves that he's going to be a bench player.
Makes no sense because you can stagger guys.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know how that made any sense.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh my goodness. That's loud, man. You want to mute for a sec? Or do you want me to turn you down? I can turn you down a little bit. You just have to start yelling as loud as your kid. You just have to start screaming your points. Here's why that makes no sense. One of the starting bigs is going to have to play with the bench, right? If you plan on running a 3-big lineup with Nurkic, Collins, and Whiteside and don't really plan on playing any other guy a whole lot at the 4 or 5, then you're going to have to play one of the starting bigs with the bench. You're going to have to sub them out early and sub them back in with the bench, right? Because let's say you have Collins and Nurkic, right? You sub one of them out early on to sub in Whiteside, right? So say you sub out Nurkic early on for Whiteside, right? Collins is still in the game. So at one point, when you sub out Collins, you're going to have to bring Nurkic back in. You know, it's the same way with a 3-guard lineup where you'd sub out CJ early and then he comes back in with the bench. So Casey's whole point about, since Zach is playing with the bench unit here for a 4-minute stretch during a scrimmage, means that he's going to come off the bench and not start, just made no sense. It was just such a stretch, and it just surprised me to see that on Twitter.
And then on top of that, I felt like, because this was in the first half after the first quarter. I mean, maybe if you were talking about the second half where the team didn't play as well in the second half, obviously. But, like, the first half, I don't know how anyone could have watched Zach play in the first quarter and thought, oh, this guy's going to be coming off the bench, not starting, or like he shouldn't be starting or whatever. So, like, if Stotts is actually watching this game thinking, you know what? This just isn't working out. It's a starting lineup. Let's go with Whiteside instead of Collins at the starting 4. Like, that to me is crazy. Like, I didn't like put it in a mean way. I just thought, like, I don't know what to say about anyone who watched Zach play in that first quarter and thought this guy should be coming off the bench, not playing with the starters.
He got pissy at the fact that you said you should listen to your own advice, which isn't even like a snark. I didn't even read it in a snarky way because he was talking about what Stotts and whatever was saying.
Yeah, I kind of said it in a snarky way, but so he said it's a scrimmage was playing well.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you're referencing rotations out of a scrimmage. How is that different? and then he said something about how I'm actually listening to what they're saying, and they're saying that if you reference what they're saying, that Whiteside and Nurk are going to be the starters. And I was like, actually, Dame and Stotts have both said who the starters are going to be, and it was both Melo, Collins, and Nurkic, not Whiteside starting. Not one person has said, like, so take your own advice and listen to what they're saying. And then I'm sure he feels validated by the fact that Stotts said that he was going to start Whiteside after the game. And who knows, like, maybe that's just, I'm hoping this isn't such a fragile situation where Stotts just said that because he knew Whiteside wasn't playing, so he wants to keep him happy or something. Like, I hope that's not the case. But yeah, it's like, and then he said, like, oh, why are you getting pissy? I knew this would happen if I engaged in a conversation with you. I'm like, you took it to that spot. Like, I didn't do anything. And I put nothing but facts there, so.
Yep. I mean, this is just, I don't know. This is every interaction with everybody in Blazers media. And, like, sure, you could say it's Eric's fault for not speaking in the most kindest tone possible, but it's just like, this is such a petty thing to get all pissy over, man. I don't know why I bother. Always has to get pissy. Take it easy. Like, he holds a grudge against us. And I asked him, how's he getting pity? How is he getting pissy? Seems like you're just holding a grudge. And he said, 2 peas in a pod. We're 2 peas in a pod, bro, you know? Just a pissy little pea pod, you know? So I mean, that was just funny. That was just funny today, where everything is back to normal when me and Eric are just getting into stupid little petty stuff with mainstream Blazers media just because they can't handle anybody not agreeing with them.
And yeah, it's not like I was like, "Oh, you're so stupid if you think Whiteside's gonna start." Like, I didn't say that. I just said, like, I don't see how anyone can watch Zach play and think like this guy shouldn't be starting. Like, that's my opinion. I think Zach should be starting at the 4. I don't think Melo should be starting, but whatever. But like, yeah, just because he made it sound like in his original tweet. So Trevin found it. Of course, Trevin did. Thanks, Trevin.
Of course, it was Trevin.
So he says Collins playing with this unit, meaning the second unit, gives the indication he'll be coming off the bench. And then in parentheses, which has been the assumption anyway. Like, where do you get that from? Like, that's
like, this is the guy who's like supposed to be plugged into the team, right? He covers them for their own website. And I feel like that tweet showed he had no grip on the team. Like, what are we talking about? Why has that been the assumption? It's not what's been said. And then he goes on later and he deletes it. So it's like, okay, I guess you finally realize you're most likely wrong. I mean, who knows? You know, maybe Stotts just pulls a fast one on us and just...
Yeah, like your tweet says, like, it's completely idiotic to have that starting lineup, and that's why it'll probably happen. And yeah,
I mean, honestly, Whiteside should feast in the bench unit. We need a guy like Collins. Can't be the guy that you. I still don't have the confidence in him being the guy that you consistently throw the ball to on the low block, and he will consistently make something happen. I have more confidence in Whiteside in that role, you know, which might surprise people, but like Whiteside's he's just a more proven player as a guy who can get a
post-ups?
Yeah, just posting up and getting a bucket down low. I think Blazer fans kind of underrate him in that regard.
Yeah. See, if you're talking about a one-on-one post-up, I like Whiteside. I mean, Nurk and Collins more than Whiteside in that situation. If you're talking about as a rolling to the basket and catching in traffic and scoring, Hassan is obviously the best player on our team, and the best player we've had in a long time at finishing around the rim. I mean, what did he shoot, like 60% from the field this year or something?
Yeah, something insane. I mean, we need a stats guy, because I would love to say, hey, can you go get Collins post-up stats last year and Whiteside's post-up stats this year? Because honestly, I would rather have Whiteside one-on-one in the post than Collins. The thing is, every time Collins has a good little post move, everybody gets super excited just because he's like the young prospect, and you know, it's just like the development aspect of it, right? It's like if
he's done that up and under since his rookie year, though. Like,
yeah,
he has that in his arsenal.
But I feel like every time he does it, sticks out more than if like Whiteside just beats somebody in the low post. You know what I mean? It's for Whiteside, it's like, oh, well, that's what he should be doing. He's so big, he's so lanky. With Collins, it's like, oh, you look at that post move, that, you know, left hand spin middle. Like, it's just a different attitude, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Whiteside does have a good hook shot to the middle, but
I feel like he hated off it this year.
I feel like we didn't. I can't think of many times where we just straight posted him up. It was more just like in the flow of the game, like getting a pass off a drive and then him going up. But yeah,
I think Whiteside posting up is more fitted for the second unit than Collins, just because the second unit center is a little bit smaller. So like Whiteside's size advantage would be more of a strength compared to Collins when you're going up against a guy who's a little undersized. So honestly, like, Whiteside makes sense off the bench if he's engaged. You know, hopefully he is engaged. If not, you just only play him behind Nurk. You never play him with Nurk. No problem with that. You know, you play Nurk 30 minutes a game, play Whiteside 18. I'm fine with that. Whiteside's still so big, he could still be okay, you know, even if he's not fully engaged. But, like, we need that guy that can go clean up all these misses from the second unit, because the second unit was bad today, and we'll kind of touch on some more players here in a sec. The second unit was just rough today. We need a guy who can go get putbacks. We don't have that with like a Wenyan Gabriel. We didn't have that with a Caleb Swanigan. We need Whiteside off the bench just because he lives off that, you know, those putbacks and just that dump off option, that lob option, and a guy who can, you know, take advantage of the low post. Like, our second unit needs that. or else it's just going to turn into CJ McCollum isolations just because nobody else other than maybe Gary Trent can get something done. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just like, it was just kind of crazy to see like the ball movement and the player movement just completely fall off with the second unit, you know? Just a completely opposite in terms of that.
Yeah, and outside of these scrimmages, I don't think we're going to see most of that second unit that we saw today played. Mm-hmm. I mean, I doubt Horde plays. I want to see Winian get a little bit of a shot, but I don't think he's going to play much once we have Whiteside.
Yeah.
And I don't think Adams is going to play at all. I don't see Hazonia getting too many minutes.
It'll be
Gary Trent, and we'll have Whiteside, and we'll have maybe one person out of Little and Hazonia will probably get a chance to earn some backup 3 minutes. And then I still think he's going to give Ant a shot in some games just to see, just to help him with his development and try to get him going. But yeah. I don't think he's going to have a very, very long leash.
Let's start with Wenyan. Just because it will go Quailing and some other players. I still, even more so than before, do not understand how you see him as a potential small forward. I still am, just seeing him with just dribbling the ball and just trying to take a guy off the dribble today. He looks more like a center than a small forward to me, man.
Not offensively. Offensively, he's kind of like a very, very poor man's version of Montrezl Harrell type.
But Montrezl ain't a small forward; he's a center.
No, I'm saying offensively. I agree with you there.
Okay.
When I talk about him playing small forward, I'm talking more about like defensively, kind of like with Zach compared to Hassan playing power forward or whatever. Like, I feel like he's quick enough laterally to stick with threes at that level.
Yeah, I thought it was flip flop for you. I thought you thought he was more of a 3 offensively, and just watching him today, I'm like, Eric, what are you talking about? Defensively,
I think we can get away with it in the current lineup we have versus some other options. But
if he could shoot, then maybe. But I still, it's not. He's not a proven shooter at all. Defensively, though, like his biggest strength, I think, is just protecting the rim. That's why I don't think he's a small forward defensively either. Like, it's good to have power forwards or centers that could end up switch onto a small forward and slide and stay in front of them. You know what I mean? So like that could be a strength of his as a big. His rim protection today he had 3-4 block shots. I think they missed a block shot on him, to be honest, or maybe it was somebody else that got it. But his rim protection is solid. For a guy that's slightly undersized and probably more of a 4 than a 5. Like he had some very impressive block shots. I mean, the start of that LA game, he had a big blocked shot. I forget who was on. I think it might have been Anthony Davis. And honestly, I like his ability as just a shot blocker, rim protector that could switch out and compete on the perimeter defensively.
Yep. Yeah, I like his hustle too. He was always he was getting boxed out. He's still trying to fight for rebounds. If he could just get around guys or not get boxed out as easy, he could really wreak havoc going for those offensive rebounds with his hustle. But I don't like him as a backup center. He did fine today, but overall, I'm glad we have some actual centers that we can put in.
Yep. The last guy that really impressed me that we haven't talked about it yet is actually Mario. Surprisingly, he was it wasn't even that he really impressed me. He was solid on the offensive end, right? He had 15. I think he led us some points.
Our leading scorer, yeah.
Defensively, he was terrible. Defensively, he was absolutely terrible. He's still just. He was supposed to be a decent defender coming into Portland. That's what people told me he was. I disagreed. He is so soft. He's like the opposite. He is the opposite type of defender as a Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent Jr. is like a little undersized wing, right? But he makes up for it with heart, hustle, strength. He slides his feet and willing to body up guys without fouling, Mario is like, he's big. and somehow like defensively he plays smaller. Because I swear, every time somebody drives at Mario, I know we're talking about the negatives. I'll get into the positives about his offensive game. But defensively, every time somebody drives at him, man, he like steps out of the way. He steps back. Like he backs up. It's like he's scared of the offensive player creating contact with him. That's always what I've kind of noticed. And he like steps just offensively when he's guarding the ball. He steps in a way that basically just kind of opens up a lane to the rim for whoever he's guarding. And it's just very frustrating because it doesn't really make sense. He should be a decent defender, and it's just I haven't been impressed with his defense all year, and I'm still not a big fan of it.
Yeah, it wasn't just him, but the second unit, there were several times where like a Pacer player would go down the middle and then cut out to the three-point line off the ball. And there would be two guys guarding him, and they'd be confused on which one was supposed to go out. And it was usually Mario and Horde or someone like that. In the second quarter, it led to a ton of open threes for the Holiday brothers. That was frustrating.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Did you hear anybody talking in that second unit? Because we can actually hear that better now with them playing in an empty arena. Did you hear much talking?
I did not. And that's one of the problems with even though Wenyen played well, he's not used to that role because, like, usually your center, you need like a Tyson Chandler, Kevin Garnett type. With the really good defensive teams, have that general back there always talking. Like, even if it's not your guy setting a pick, he's yelling across the court at you. And Wenyen just doesn't know that role yet. So, not that that's his fault or anything, but like I feel like the second unit was just a bunch of guys out there trying to make a case for themselves to play, and they weren't playing a lot like a unit.
It wasn't Wenyen's lack of talking that I really had a problem with, because as you said, a lot of it was like transition. They were getting transition threes, transition buckets. That's on everybody, you know? If you are on one side of the court in transition and you have a guy kind of run down and might not be your guy, and that you see him running baseline out to the other side of the court, you should have the awareness to notice that. You got to be saying something. You got, runner or something, or shouting out a teammate's name to get their attention so they notice the guy that's running baseline to the corner or something like that, right? If you are with another one of your teammates getting back in defensive transition, and you're a little bit behind him, you got to let him know, take up, play up, or just say up. That type of communication, like, so he knows, okay, he has somebody below him. He doesn't have to necessarily worry about anything underneath. He needs to get whoever's coming up court, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain without a diagram or something like that, but that type of communication, you got to communicate in defensive transition, because a lot of times you can't pick up your guy. You don't have time to run all the way back to your guy. You have to get somebody who's close. If the shooting guard and small forward are on opposite sides of the court, why completely run across court to swap assignments? You just pick up whoever's closest. There's certain guys that are similar enough defenders that you just pick up whoever's closest, that type of thing. But you got to be able to communicate. You can't have one guy running over to guard his assignment and then another guy is picking him up because he's closest, and then you leave another guy wide open. You can't have that type of stuff. So that was a big point of emphasis all season long when I played in college, because we kind of struggled with that early on. So that's something we really, really worked on. And, everybody just yelling, super vocal. You know what I mean? That type of thing. I'm still like, I know this, like the restart, but it's like, you guys are in the NBA. We've had issues with this all season. How come nobody is talking in defensive transition? And honestly, I didn't really hear Stotts yelling at guys to talk in defensive transition either, which is something that is a bit surprising. So that was something I had a problem with that second unit, and it led to a lot of threes.
Yeah, hopefully we get that cleared up. Like I said, a lot of those guys won't be playing meaningful enough minutes, and if they are, it'll really stand out if they're making those mistakes in actual games. So hopefully they go over the film of this one and show them that they need to communicate like that. Because that's like the most important thing about defense is communication. And it's frustrating when you don't see it at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's something that's going to be a point of emphasis, I think, of the second scrimmage that I'm going to look for, that I want you guys to look for as well. I want to hear your guys' thoughts next stream about how you thought, their defensive communication was. Because in the starting lineup, Melo talks, Nurkic talks, Zach talks. You got three guys there that talk. For as bad as Melo is defensively, like on the perimeter and, in other areas, like at least he talks, at least he's vocal. We need that. We need that in the second unit. So the thing is the two guys that the second unit was missing today is like playing with CJ, because I assume they stagger and play CJ with them, and Whiteside. And Whiteside's defensive communication, I'm not sure is the best. And CJ is a guard, so he's not going to see a lot of things, and I feel like he doesn't talk the best defensively either, so I'm not sure that's a problem that's going to be resolved just by getting CJ and Whiteside in there with that bench unit.
Yeah, I agree. I just think our starters are going to play so many minutes that hopefully it won't matter. Yeah, we do need Ariza. You're right, Trevin. Yeah, and if we just had him right now, and I saw some stuff in the chat. I like 99% sure that he can't come back even if he wanted to at this point. Once you opt out, I think it was final.
Which doesn't make sense to me because Zion can come back, right? Why?
Yeah, but he didn't completely opt out. He left for an
but it's like, you know what I mean? It's just doesn't. What's the difference, right?
I think it's more because we picked someone up to replace him, and it was more of a contract roster type thing. Not
we had an open roster spot. I know there's reasons to replace Ariza. It's just I don't know. You should be able to cut that player or something to bring him back Ariza. Cut Adams to bring back Ariza or something.
In another seemingly way to get Zion into the playoffs, the NBA changed their rules today about people coming back into the bubble.
Did they?
Did you see that?
Nope. Wow, for Zion?
Yeah, so now it says, in some cases they could be quarantined up to 4 days, but in cases of players who have, because he's being tested every day, I guess, and they now say that as long as you test negative every time and then test negative when you come back, that it's a 0 day waiting period. So he's just going to be able to come back and start playing.
Bro,
yeah.
You can test negative and have the virus in the very early stages of having the virus.
I know, but he's like I said, he's being tested every day. So yeah, I don't know.
But it doesn't matter. If the timing is right, he could come back, have a negative test, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
have the virus and then start transmitting it and ruin the bubble.
Yeah, I was surprised at that too, but
like 2 day, 3 day period, like what does that hurt? You know what I mean? Like at that point you can have a lot more, confidence. You have confidence anyway with the negative test, but that's a way to be sure that you don't just jeopardize the bubble.
Yeah.
So I am very, very like that's why they came up with it in the first place.
Yeah, and I don't know if they have some sort of new information or not, but yeah, it's it's kind of surprising to see that today, considering, like we talked about last time, some of the extra precautions they're doing to make sure people are completely covered. But yeah.
Kyle Parker. So, God, man. That's ridiculous. And tests aren't all perfect, right? You can have confidence in the testing in the bubble because those players are in the bubble, so they shouldn't be exposed to the virus anyway, right? If you have a player coming in from the outside, coming back in, you can't have as much confidence in that player's test because they were outside the bubble when they came in. That's why you have a quarantine period. So the fact that they did away with that, no surprises on, because they would not have done away with that if it was like if it was Jalen Adams leaving the bubble and then trying to come back. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, of course, Zion leaves the bubble and then they change it. Because it's going to affect Zion, and he might miss a game, and that might make him lose, and then the Pelicans can't get into the playoffs. I don't understand. Like, I get for TV ratings, it would be better with Zion. I think a ton of people would still watch the Blazers. You got Dame, and it's the Lakers. I don't think it's the differential in ratings is going to be that huge. But why even jeopardize that? So I mean, maybe it's not because it's just Zion. It just seems like there's just been thing after thing after thing where it's just seems like they're pandering to Zion. They wanted to make sure he's part of the restart. Their schedule, I got a couple things wrong in the video I made on that, but whatever. That video popped off a little bit, so I'm not complaining. I'm wrong every now and then. I just misread the table on it, which sucks, but there's just so much stuff just over and over again where it's just like, man, of course they're gonna change that up. So wish I could say that I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, yeah. If Zion goes right back into the bubble and starts to play, that's going to be kind of BS. But
bro, know how bad it would look on the NBA if he came back, tested negative, didn't have to quarantine, and he had the virus, and a bunch of players got infected. Do you know how bad that would look? That would look terrible. You had no players test positive the other day, right? So, this bubble's working so far. If they let Zion in, and, it became an issue and he started affecting people, because he'd probably affect half his team. You know what I mean? The guys he's playing against. And then the thing is, the thing can spread so fast that those guys might go, they're supposed to wear masks and stuff, especially around other teams on the campus. But, who knows, Stuff can happen like that, especially when you're all close-ish or, So it's it would make the NBA look so bad because it would show you that, they should have quarantined Zion, but they didn't want to quarantine Zion.
You'd think they'd cover it up. Say it was someone else that got everyone infected.
Imagine that 30 for 30, bro.
They blame, Mario Hezonja or something. Mm-hmm. The Blazers can't be in the playoffs now, even though they finished ahead of the Pelicans because they got everyone sick.
Because Mario got everyone sick and said it was Zion. And then that would be Adam Silver's frozen envelope scandal,
Yeah.
Oh, man. Dude, the 30 for 30 on this is going to be insane. Have you watched any of the vlogs that players have been putting out on it?
Yeah. A lot of funny ones.
Did you watch Matisse Thybulle's?
Yeah, I think he's had 3 so far.
I think he just put out his 4th one a day and a half ago.
Yeah.
He's editing them all himself, which, props, because NBA players could easily hire somebody to do that, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that Matisse Thybulle is editing it himself, just a huge round of applause from, a much smaller YouTuber. Obviously, I'm not an NBA player, but that's dope. You know what I mean? That an NBA player is actually not only filming the vlog, but instead of just easily buying somebody to edit it, he's actually editing himself. I don't know why. I just find that really, really cool. That he's just the whole entire experience.
They've got a lot of time.
True. Also, his editing is actually legitimately good. His vlogs are legitimately impressive from an NBA player, I feel like. If that was just a vlogging YouTuber, I'd be okay. Par for the course. The fact that it's an NBA player doing some of the stuff that he's done in those vlogs and just the way he puts together those vlogs, I'm just speaking from a YouTuber standpoint. I've actually been really impressed and just absolutely loved Thybulle's vlogs, man. They've been phenomenal.
Yeah, the editing quality is definitely better on that one, but just the content from the bubble has been great. Mm-hmm. I've enjoyed watching a lot of that.
I like Matisse because he's just himself. I mean, he's just candid. You know what I mean? It feels natural, and that's why I think it's cool to have a rookie doing that. If it was LeBron doing that, it would feel forced. You know what I mean? Or if it was a superstar or something, it would feel forced. But the fact that it's just a rookie, doing it for fun. Because he doesn't need the little bit of extra cash. He's doing that for fun and editing it all himself. It just seems very natural. And it's just a look at the NBA that YouTube has never really gotten before. And from a YouTuber covering the NBA, I just think that's super, super dope.
For sure.
Gary would be the vlogger for sure. Gary would be a good vlogger, man. Bro, I wish I was in the NBA. I would have came up with this idea before I would have been on that vlog. I guarantee it, man. Be able to buy whatever equipment you want. Whew. He was like Thibault was trying to fly a drone, and it's a no-fly zone there. Like, he had everything, bro. Like, he was ready to go. That would be so much fun to be able to do that. It's just cool to see what it looks like, too.
Was it him that at their practice or something they played like a rap song and he didn't know who it was and said someone like Joe Budden or something?
Yeah, it was Nas, and he said, "Is this Joe Budden?" Yeah, I don't understand that, man. He's not that much younger than me, and I know the difference. Like, come on, man. That was funny. That's a huge L. Huge L. Bull Ricky card's been insane the last 24 hours.
Yeah, we need to talk about that. The hype is unreal. I feel like it's like Zion levels right now.
Bro, he had one good scrimmage, man. Holy hell. Like, it's one good scrimmage, man.
He did look good, but yeah.
Did Thon Maker have a rookie game his rookie year where he looked good too? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying. Obviously, he's not Thon Maker, but one, can he stay healthy? Two, can he slide his feet to defend on the perimeter? You know, can he hedge up on pick and rolls well? You know what I mean? That type of thing. Like, his weaknesses won't get exposed in a scrimmage. Like, he is good enough to hit a couple threes, right? But it's one game, right? Is he going to be a 36% three-point shooter or a 30% three-point shooter? Because there's a big difference. You don't really have to worry about a 30% three-point shooter because it's just not an effective shot if you only shoot 30%. That type of thing. You know, it's just like, how can he play next to Jokic? Can he play power forward? Does he have the foot speed to defend on the perimeter to play power forward? If not, he's not going to play that much anyway because Jokic is going to play a ton, you know? So there's so many things with Bol where it's just like, people need to chill out. What are your thoughts on that?
Bol's always been one of those weird players where I could see anywhere from him being really good to like terrible, and not necessarily terrible because of his skill set, just because he's just got a unique body that we've never really seen in the NBA. Same with Zion, actually. We've never really seen someone that big be that athletic. But, it's just be interesting to see how he develops. Because if he can stay healthy, I mean, that's going to be his biggest problem. But if he can stay healthy, he definitely has NBA skills. It'll just be interesting to see how a team uses him and doesn't. Because, if he's their center, and I would just post him up. And because he's one of those guys, too, I know I joked around with it with Whiteside, but he's one of those guys who will chase blocks, too, and you could pump fake. Like, Zach, I think, would abuse him in the post with his up and under moves. So it'll be interesting to see how they use him, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, it definitely was unreal. It just happened to be like one of the first games, or maybe the first game in the morning too. So the hype was just crazy yesterday for him.
The starting lineup was phenomenal. There's Jokic at point, Jeremy Grant, Bol, Millsap, and Plumlee. Malone's just trolling with that.
And for those who are wondering, they had 8 players available for the game, and they only had 1 guard, so it's not like they were doing it on purpose or whatever. They basically had to do it.
Didn't Jamal Murray have golf fatigue or something?
That's what they said. I think they were just joking around because they.
That's what I'm saying. Malone's just trolling, man.
Yeah,
I love it. Malone's like that super fiery coach that I feel like off the court is just this funny ass guy, you know, and just completely different off the court because that's. That's funny, man. Kind of like Pop, you know, and he's a Pop disciple, right? So I feel like half the coaches are Pop disciples. But let's finish talking about Mario because we didn't really talk about his offense. Offensively, he played okay. His catch and shoot, his form on his catch and shoot looked better, just more smooth. And honestly, I don't know. I think what looks better with his form is he's not bringing it back quite as far, which is the same change that Yusuf Nurkic made. So I wonder if this is something that the coaching staff is doing with their shooters. But Mario, like, he kind of shoots the ball on the other side of his head a little bit, right? Like a little bit off center. I don't know if you agree with that. That's kind of what I noticed.
See, I think it's a little high. But yeah, I've always felt like he has good form. It just never goes in, and that's
yeah.
It's a little bit of. I mean, some of you guys are probably a little young, but we had a foreign player named Victor Claver for a while, and he was like about the Brandon Roy time.
That was the perfect example of that.
He was like a great, like his form was good. He was a smart player. He was like actually a decent thing, but like his shot never went in. Like it looked good, but it never fell.
Yeah.
So like I feel like the Hazonia is very comparable in that. And I get kind of that feeling with Nurk on his 3-pointers too, because there was that year, last year when they thought he was going to start shooting threes, and like every single one of them just rimmed out. And they weren't like off bad at any point. Like they looked good. It's just they weren't going in. If you could just get some of those to fall, I feel like his confidence would get a lot better.
Yeah, it is harder to have touch the more you like fling the ball forward, right? So if you bring it back far, like it's a lot of forward movement on your shot, right? If you keep it in front of your face, you could shoot it up. It's a lot more upward movement, up and out. So it's a lot more fluid. Let me make sure I'm actually on the camera. It's a lot more fluid to bring it up in front and go out instead of kind of cock it back and go forward. I felt like Mario was more like he brought it back too far and flung it forward, where now he's kind of brought it more in front of his face and it's more up and out. And I feel like Nurkic has done the same. I feel like, it's not a huge difference, so their form looked good before. They just didn't have much touch on their shot because it was too much forward movement. And now Mario, I noticed this, like it just seems like the ball his set point's a little bit more in front of his head and it's a little more up and out, which allows you to have a little bit more touch, and hopefully for Mario leads to him knocking down more threes, because at some point during his career, if he wants to stay in the NBA, he's going to have to become at least a decent 3-point shooter, because he can't shoot like how he did this year and stick around the NBA. So he hit a couple of them off the dribble. He even hit one off the dribble. So I shouldn't even say off the dribble. It's all that bad. He had a couple early on off the dribble where it's just like yikes. But his shot looked better, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can definitely tell between him and Nurk that they spent much of this quarantine just shooting, and that's good to see. I'm hoping a lot of the Blazers did that, because that could be a huge advantage over some of the teams that maybe had players that didn't really practice as much as they should have when they were off. I know we have like Giannis saying that he lied about not having a basketball hoop to try to throw people off or something. I don't know how that would be, like how that would matter.
Giannis is kind of weird. Yeah, like they're gonna expect him to not be Giannis. Like
you're gonna be like, oh yeah, Giannis didn't practice at all. He's gonna suck. We're gonna beat the Bucks. Like
as if like a big part of Giannis's, talent isn't the fact that he's 6'11" and super fluid and a freak. Like he's not gonna lose all that, man. It's not like he's out here shooting a bunch of shot jumpers anyway. He just goes at guys. Like he doesn't. Honestly, a big part of his game is just being able to handle the ball at that size. Like he doesn't even need a basketball hoop to do that. He could sit in his home and just dribble all day. That's crazy. That's funny.
So Beavis and Butthead said this is the Aminu hater channel. I don't know. I hope Trevin asked if he's talking about chat. Okay, he's talking about chat. Never mind.
Oh, I was going
to say Tori's defended Amino a lot. I don't think he has hated on him much at all.
I've called it how it is with everybody. I try and call it how it is with every single player. So a lot of people.
I mean, you're even complimenting Mario today.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, man. Okay, so good old 503 for the fans. We got in an argument about 2 weeks ago in the Twitter chat we have, and The man literally thought, because of how critical I was of Stotts deciding to play Melo at the 3, that I wasn't going to root for Melo to succeed at the 3. Apparently he thought that, which makes no sense to me. Like, just because I don't think something's going to work out well, or like I'm critical of a player, doesn't mean that I don't want them to succeed, right? I want Stotts to prove me wrong and turn into a genius and prove... The thing is, I wouldn't have been wrong for my criticism before, but you know what I mean? If Stotts all of a sudden starts doing a bunch of good things, I will point them out and say he's doing good things. Like, I complimented Stotts earlier, you know? If Mario plays well, I will compliment Mario. Like, it's not like I have a grudge or I hate these players or I'm a Mario hater or I'm a Stotts hater or anything like that, you know what I mean? I just try and call it how it is. Not everything's going to be positive if you call it how it is, you know? I don't work for the team, so I don't have to sit here with a filter on my mouth and just speak peaches and cream and roses and all that crap, right? I can call it how it is. It's YouTube. So I root for anybody wearing a Blazer uniform. You know, if Raymond freaking Felton somehow ended up back in a Blazer uniform, I would hope he succeeds in a Blazer uniform because he's in a Blazer uniform. You know, and that's Raymond freaking Felton. I hate Raymond Felton. That's just the way it is. Like, so. Yeah, not a hater of anybody wearing a Blazer uniform. I may hate watching them play, but I still want them to succeed. That's Evan Turner, I hated watching him play. Hated the fact that he got minutes, but I still wanted him to do well. I was still hyped in the fourth quarter of Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals when he finally played well that playoffs. So,
ooh, that's a tough one. What if Westbrook is a Blazer?
If Westbrook was a Blazer, I'd root for him. Like anybody that wears a Blazer uniform, man. It doesn't.
That's tough.
You would root for West.
I would root for him, but I would have a tough.
When he plays bad, light into him. When he plays bad and plays dumb, it'd drive us crazy. I know that. I'm still root for him.
I just don't like the way he treats people sometimes after the games, and yeah.
Neither do I. Yeah. Neither do I. But the thing is, the Blazers have avoided that type of player, so hopefully we'll never have to worry about that.
Yeah, we've had a lot of. We've been lucky. It mainly starts with Dame, but like overall, like I'm not worried about a single player doing anything bad while they're in Orlando right now. I'm never worried about something happening police wise. Yeah, so it's we've been spoiled a little bit since the Jailblazer era, and I think it was the right thing to do because that really sucked having all those things happen and. All the stress that comes along with it. The only thing
remotely like that was when Caleb Swanigan was wilding out on Twitter that one night, which who knows what's up with him. He might never play a second in the NBA again. The fact that he didn't go with them on this trip, I think, was kind of telling.
Yeah, so I don't know if you saw it, but right before the start of the game, the Blazer Broadcasting had the roster for it said 4 Orlando games. And both Swanigan and Moses Brown were on there. There was 15 players listed. It's like, you're Blazers Broadcasting. Come on, man. Like
that wasn't the only mistake they made, bro.
Yeah, I know it wasn't the only mistake, but I'm just saying, like, how do you not even know like the roster of the team that you're about to like call the game of? Like,
I wonder if you realize the other mistake I'm thinking of.
I don't know. What was it?
A certain player number that we have retired that everybody should know we have retired. There was a graphic for Jalen Adams, right? Jalen Adams wears number 10, right? On the graphic, they had him as number 20. Which, how do you make that mistake? I mean, I make mistakes every now and then too, but I'm not, Blazers freaking Broadcasting when I'm making picks against the spread slides last minute for a podcast, Like, number 20, Maurice Lucas numbers, of course it's retired. Like, why? that was another mistake they made. I was laughing at that, And it's not a big deal, but yeah, I'm not sure if anybody else really noticed that because people don't really pay too much attention to the number on the graphic, but I saw 20, I was surprised.
But this is why I've been so critical about the amount of players they have right now, because all of a sudden Little gets a concussion and Whiteside has an Achilles injury, which I do want to talk about that before we get off here. But So now we're down to 11 healthy players when we could have 17, and then we'd still have 15 players right now. I don't understand why we wouldn't have taken Moses when it was basically given to every team that they could just take their two-way guys and it wouldn't count towards the salary cap or anything like that. And I don't understand why we wouldn't have replaced Swan again. Considering, I mean, we went into this game with two healthy bigs. And, I mean, I guess you could consider Wenyan a big too, but both of those two are coming off an injury, and like that's our whole lineup right now. Like, I know it's a scrimmage, but like, I just don't understand why you wouldn't protect against some of these little injuries. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if we have a big injury to Dame or CJ or Nurk or something, our season's probably over anyway. But I just don't understand why we wouldn't account for some depth issues in a situation like this when it's basically pennies to account for that, and it doesn't count against the luxury tax or the cap or anything.
Yeah, like, we can afford to lose a wing. Which, you know what's funny is everybody's like, oh, we need another wing. We need another wing. That is the one position we can afford to lose somebody at. Because we got Melo, because we're starting Melo at the 3. You got Melo, you got Trent, you got Mario, and you should have Little back, right? So in terms of wings, that's the one position we can lose.
The problem is, though, if we lost Trent or something like that, we don't have a backup guard that you feel comfortable playing, and then
well, you'd probably play Mario at yeah.
Yeah, then it gets kind of
true.
I just yeah.
But I mean, you could count Trent as like a guard / wing. You know what I mean? Because he's like a 2-3, whereas Mario, Nasir, and Melo are strictly like forwards.
Yeah.
Strictly like small forwards. So if we lose a guard, we're kind of screwed. If we lose a big, we're kind of screwed right now. Like, because if we lose Whiteside, you know, we basically lose our backup 5 and some minutes at the backup 4, basically 2, because he's going to probably play a little bit with Nurk. So, I mean, yeah, you could put Wenyan in there. I'm just not super high on, you know, Wenyan is not going to help the team a whole lot right now, I don't think. And if we lose Dame, CJ, or Trent, you know, we don't really have a guard to replace them either, you know, because we need to talk about Simons in a second, because you can't count on him right now. So that's my whole point. Is
when the actual games start, I think Wenyan, you couldn't have him be the backup center and be the only big in the lineup. Mm-hmm. I think he would get too exposed. But if you used him kind of like we did in that Lakers game where you had him playing mostly with the starters and just as a defensive matchup against some tough guys to guard, like an Anthony Davis type, I think he does. There could be some situations where he could get minutes. I just don't want to have to rely on him for like 30 minutes a game or something.
We're in trouble if he gets minutes, in my opinion.
Yeah. But yeah, I just don't understand why we wouldn't have, because there's only one other team that had 14 players, and that's Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And they had like half their team have COVID and opt out, and they tried to replace a bunch of them. And then they had one of their replacements got COVID. And so like they tried to have more than 14. They weren't just going down there. And then every other team has 16 or 17 players. And I just don't understand why we're sitting there with 13 at such a disadvantage with this kind of stuff.
Bol could not easily play small forward. At all. We're getting way ahead of ourselves with that. But yeah, I mean, we should have signed a center or a more proven guard. You know, a Trey Burke or somebody. Something like, oh my God, O'Shea's not taking this seriously at all because he didn't sign Iman Shumpert or he didn't sign a small forward, you know?
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, you know, but you had those people on Twitter, O'Shea, this is just par for the course with Neil O'Shea, like just friggin' crucifying Neil O'Shea for signing Jalen Adams and not signing a small forward. Where it's like, we can afford to lose a small forward. We can afford to lose a small forward. We can't afford to lose a guard right now. We can't afford to lose a center right now or a big right now. So yeah, it would have been nice to sign a player ready to play. You know, not a Jalen Adams, a player at one of those positions that's ready to step in if needed.
I just don't get not bringing Moses. Like, At least you have
he
a
sucks.
body to practice. I know, but like at least you
Yeah.
have a 7-footer for practice and stuff. Like I'm not saying he's going to play it all, but like I just wish they had another body. Is all. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Hopefully not lose. We got 14. No, we got 13.
Oh.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hopefully we won't lose 3 players, you know?
Yeah. So I just want to put this on the record now, and knock on wood before I say this. If they play Hassan with Achilles soreness and he blows out his Achilles, I am going to be so mad. I know you had that epic rant about Rodney Hood. If they have not learned their lesson about taking Achilles soreness seriously and something bad happens, this is going to be an epic failure, and it not only will affect this season, but then you would not have Whiteside for next year as well.
And you jeopardize his next contract. And
Yep.
Yeah. You know when things are like, okay, something like makes you mad, makes you really mad, pisses you off, but then it's so bad where it's like you have no emotional reaction to it because you're just so absolutely effing ridiculous, where it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
That's what that would be. Because you already had that happen once with Rodney Hood, and I was very pissed off about that. If they had that happen again...
in the same season.
Because they played him in a scrimmage with Achilles soreness, and then he blew out his Achilles in a scrimmage, right? You know, because hopefully he's fine 8 days from now, right? Hopefully... You know, it doesn't sound too serious, but if that happened in a scrimmage, that would be so absolutely ridiculous that I think I might disappoint the people watching my channel, because I would not give them that insane epic rant they wanted. It would just be so far past that it'd just be like, we're stupid. Like, I wouldn't even know what to say, bro. I'd be speechless at just the ridiculousness of it. So hopefully that's not something that I even have to, like, you know, deal with. But when I heard Achilles soreness, saw Whiteside being out, I'm like, oh, the last time we heard Achilles soreness, we all know what happened, and yeah, we don't want a repeat of that.
So what do? You just sit him out? What if... Because I could see Whiteside being like, oh, I'm fine. Like, you know, and not saying anything. I'm sure Hood was a little bit that way, too. Maybe not revealing how bad it was.
The thing is, with Hassan, it's like he hasn't played hardly at all, right? With Hood, it was like much more likely to be a fatigue thing. You know, with Hassan, it might just be like, oh, he's still getting used to like ramping things back up. So I don't know if like it's any more safe with Hassan. I'm just kind of spitballing here. Like, I'm not the medical professional. The medical professionals are paid to get this decision right, which, you know, they are. You know, the team and the organization already got this decision wrong once this year, right? They're supposed to get it right. So I don't know, you know, because I don't know as much as they do. If they get it wrong again, that would be absolutely ridiculous. I since they're thinking about playing him with Nurkic, I do want to see him and Nurkic play at some. You can just you just make your wife mad by telling her to shut up.
What?
Yeah, I said you just make your wife mad by telling her to shut up.
No.
What is that? Tinfoil?
It was my 7-year-old trying to open a bag of chips.
I thought it was like your wife going through something in the fridge with tinfoil. That's what I said.
And I didn't say shut up. I asked if he needed help opening it, and he said no. And went upstairs.
Shut up, kid. That's probably what you said. Yeah. Yep.
Shut up.
Shut the frickin' front door. Yeah, but I don't know. I do want to see Nurkic and Hassan play together in a scrimmage, since they want to try that out. But the thing is, playing them together in one scrimmage isn't going to tell you anything you either already shouldn't know or that you'll find out from one scrimmage. Right. You know what I mean? So
Agreed.
I lean towards don't risk it for a scrimmage. If they play him, like, make sure he's okay. You're paid to get this decision right. You're the organization. I'm the YouTuber, right? I'm not supposed to make that decision, right? If you get it wrong, I'll be very, very pissed off. Or so pissed off that I don't even feel pissed off and I have no reaction. But, yeah, no, just hopefully that's not a situation we have to deal with. Tori hates on the family dynamic. I mean...
You do, man. That's good.
If we weren't live, I would love it, you know? I would love it. And it's fun to hear your daughter, like, diss you when you're live. That's fun. See, I'm not fully against the family dynamic. You know, just when it sounds like there's tinfoil just popping in my brain. You know, it's a little different. But you do the best you can on balancing it. So I can't complain.
Yeah, so someone brought this up earlier in the stream, and now again, the dislikes are probably from the people we had an issue with last stream coming in and doing that. And then Ben says also maybe Casey, hold on, his burner accounts are in here, just like in the stream.
Yep. Which the thing is, they're giving us more views. Like, they're just giving us more views. Like, that honestly probably is more good stuff. It's probably better for the channel to get views than it is bad for the channel to get dislikes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we just got a rise in likes. So if you are enjoying the stream, leave a like. You can counteract it, right? Because these people have no life and want to come in here and try and dislike the stream. Oh, it's just ridiculous. So, you know, go ahead and hit that like button. We just hit our peak in viewers at midnight, pretty much exactly, which is dope.
It's hilarious, the people who will dislike it for a second and then do it. See, now it keeps rotating back and forth between like 4 and 7 dislikes.
I can't even see because I just see likes on the streaming likes stuff. So.
Yikes!
What?
Russell Westbrook just.
What's up, Casey? I used to like your content, but started liking it less as I learned more about basketball and shit. Honestly,
see,
I could see something that happening.
We've been told by a lot of people, not Casey, but other guys, that if we want to make it in this business, we can't like be negative at all, basically.
Yep.
And that's BS. Like, we're not going to change who we are just because like we're trying to make it. Like, if they only want someone in Casey Holdall's position that will never say a bad word about anything that ever happens, then that's not for me. It's not for Tori.
That's the mistake people make. I'm not trying to get those guys jobs. I'm not trying to host Rip City Radio or the Fifth Quarter on the radio or be a Blazer outsider or any of that. I'm not trying to do that. So if you ever want to make it in this business, I'll make my own path, right? I'll make my own path. Blazers Edge is pretty well known, right? They started as just a startup, I forget who started it and whatnot, just a random startup years ago, right? It was
Ben Golliver and Dave Decker.
So, like, at some point we will have a website with written content, right? Once we get fans back in the stadium, I will get out there and pass out business cards before games. Like, I will grow this platform to the point where it's something that, people will look at in just as being more popular. Right now we're kind of underground. It's slowly growing, and we're going to grow a little bit as basketball comes back. But I'm just dedicated to growing this thing, and I have other stuff that I'm going to try and do, which far surpasses anything any of those guys do. That's all I gotta say on that. I put that on pause because I want to figure out other things in my life first. But I have a long-term plan with covering basketball that it far surpasses anything any of those guys do. And it's not even a shot at them. Like, I got big plans that might succeed, might fail, but I'm not concerned about making it in the business and being just a positive guy who works for a company that kisses Stott's ass and just doesn't criticize anything. I'm not for that. I don't want that.
Also, like, can you imagine if we had the kind of access to information and players that some of them have, as well as
Oh, we'd kill it at their
yeah,
jobs, I think. I mean, I'm not even going to take a shot at anybody doing their job good or bad. But with our knowledge, you put us in a situation like that, I think we'd do very, very well. That's just me.
So I didn't want to cut you off, but we have something very important to talk about, and that is we need to wish Russell first round exit Westbrook a happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy
And
birthday to Westbrook.
He wants us to sing to him. I'm down if you are, since he's a vital member of this community and a contributor financially to you. So if you want to sing happy birthday to him, I'll do it.
I will sing happy birthday to him in a very monotone voice because I'm not about to flaunt my vocals. So I will half-ass it, but it will be a birthday song, just because I ain't trying to actually sing Westbrook. I'm sorry, man. Sorry if I let you down, bro. But I
didn't mean like sing. I'm just saying like say the happy birthday song.
All right, Westbrook. All right, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Westbrook. Happy birthday to you. Dope. There you go, bro. Happy birthday, man.
And sorry for everyone's ears.
No, we killed it. We slayed it. Yeah. We should have rapped it, bro, and would have sounded better. Anyway, so Westbrook, the legend himself, is now 15 years old. Right? How old is he?
He's one of the older ones.
No, I know.
22 now, I think.
It would be a problem if he's 15, considering he donates pretty consistently, and I wouldn't want a stolen credit card type moment.
23.
Did you hear about that kid that stole his mom's credit card and spent $20,000 on Twitch donations, and one of the guys that he donated a lot to was Myers Leonard?
Oh, really?
Did you hear about that?
No.
Myers Leonard and a third-string quarterback for the Falcons that I didn't recognize his name, and Tfue and some other guys. And then his mom reached out to all the people he donated to, and the backup quarterback and Myers Leonard were the only people that responded because she was trying to get her money back because he donated literally $20,000, savings and stuff. Which is how do you let your 15-year-old have access? Yeah. You may honestly that is more on just bad parenting than the actual kid. You know what I mean?
I'm sure Myers donates a lot of it, but why does he need donations on Twitch anyway?
A lot of it is just for if you have a lot of viewers, it's so that you can actually interact with the person you're watching because they have enough viewers where it's just hard for them to interact with just anybody, so they just interact with people who donate.
Okay.
So it's just so they can stand out in a way, if that makes sense. I don't have that problem. But a couple of times it's been like that for me on the trade deadline stream when it was popping off the most, on the Melo stream when Melo signed, it was like that as well, just where it was so hard to keep up with chat. I was almost just reading the donations because the donations were flowing in. So anyway, we got to talk about, and we haven't talked about this yet, but we got to talk about Anthony Simons. And I kind of saved this because this is just going to be negative, man. He was so hyped up before the season. And I know it's just one scrimmage, but I'm just starting to not be high on his long-term potential, which might come as a surprise to people. But the reason I'm not high on his long-term potential is because I am not a fan of his biomechanics. The way he moves with the ball worries me. He is a classic case of somebody who overstrides. And it's really hard to be a guard and break down defenses if you're an overstrider. You look at Dame's footwork and Dame's biomechanics and how sharp he is, how quick he is with his feet, that type of thing. is completely different compared to Anthony, where whenever he seems to try and make a move, he's just overextending himself. He's not really able to explode out of it, and it doesn't sell moves. Like, just the way he moves with the ball has me worried. And then I'm also just more down on his form than I have been. Like, he struggled last season with his shot, right? Struggled, or this season with his shot. Pretty much all season long. He was a little hot early. It just seemed like it was a hot streak now because he struggled all season, right? Had 4.5 months off, right? Nurkic came back with a better shot. Mario came back with a better shot. Anthony couldn't hit a thing today. I don't know what he shot today. He was like 1 for 10, I think, or something like that. Just, that's my best guess. Like, couldn't hit anything. His shot didn't look good. I am, like, people think he has high long-term potential because of how athletic he is and like some of the things he can do with the ball in his hands, but it's really hard to fix like the biomechanical issues in his shot and that type of stuff. So I'm kind of a bit down on him at the moment.
Yeah, I guess I'm down on him too, but he's another one of those guys I feel like if his first shots would just... He had several that just rimmed in and out too, like his first couple 3-pointers. And I feel like he's just seeing a couple of those go in away from like breaking out in some of these games. And because like when you're struggling with your shot, once you miss the first one, then the second time you go to shoot, you're like, oh, should I be shooting this? Or like, but I'm open, I'm going to shoot anyway. And then when that doesn't go in, it like adds up and it builds up and it can really affect your confidence. But like you said, there are several players that did seemingly work on their shot a lot during this break. So that's one strike against him. I just feel like he was rough in the second half, especially trying to pass off the dribble. But I felt like in the first half, other than missing shots, he didn't really mess up a lot. He wasn't doing a lot of things. It was more just that he couldn't get a shot to fall. And I'm a little less critical when that's the case versus like his second half play where he was making a lot of turnovers and bad decisions. But yeah, I still think he's got a high ceiling. And the thing with the strides and the way he moves and stuff, I feel like those are still correctable issues. And if he does correct them, like his one basket he made, he did actually, he didn't dunk it, but he did attack the rim instead of like going away from it like he usually does.
Yeah. Like he can straight line drive, right? He just, as a guard, like just with the way he plays, like he's going to need to be somebody who's shifty with the ball and can get guys leaning and, you know, like be like Dame or CJ with it, you know, the way they're able to create off the dribble, you know, breaking guys down with the dribble as they get them leaning one way, attack the other, get guys off balance, that type of thing. Simon's like outside just straight line drives, I feel like can't create inside the arc.
Yeah. I just see it's weird because like he's the same age of a lot of other players that are
he
absolutely
is
dominating right
and
now.
I want to make some comparisons in a sec of those players.
But like I still feel like he's more of a kid than those guys. And it's just mostly the way his body is, you know. So I feel like if he ever grows up and gets strong and like isn't that way anymore, like once he actually, I don't know, I feel like he's still a kid playing in the NBA.
Yeah.
Versus like and I know that's not fair because like Gary Trent's only a few months older than him and he's like a man out there. But like I just feel like he started so far behind some of those guys from where he was at with not playing college, and like a guy like Luka Doncic who's played overseas professionally, yeah, I just feel like he still has a long ways to go to mature and grow up and build into his body and stuff.
That's exactly my problem, though. Like, he's had 4 months since the season got canceled. With Mario, you could see a little bit of improvement with his shot. With Nurkic, you saw improvement. Of course, he was out for a while. With Trent, I noticed a little bit of improvement off the dribble. I know it's just one scrimmage, but it's like I don't notice an improvement with Simon's body at all, right? I don't notice any improvement, and he has like the most improvement to make. So you should be able to see noticeable improvement in 4 months if he's really dedicating himself, which is the thing that I'm worried about. I'm not sure how hard of a worker he is. You know, like you're not going to hear about guys not working hard. You're only going to hear about the guys that are working hard, right? You've heard about how hard Gary Trent Jr. worked last summer on his defense and that type of stuff. You hear about how hard Mario was working on his shot. You hear about how hard Nasir Little was working, right? You don't hear a single thing about Anthony working hard, which I know he was in Orlando, but why was he in, you know what I mean? Why was he in Orlando during that whole layoff when he could have been in Portland with the coaching staff and working on stuff, you know? And just
They
with this,
weren't they weren't allowed to do that actually.
but they were able to shoot around, and you had the weight room and with the
No,
practice facility being open.
the practice facilities were closed for over 2 months.
Yeah, till May, right? Still in Florida though, for a while.
Yeah, I don't know when he came back, but yeah, they were completely closed down for a while.
I mean, whatever it is, you don't hear anything about, if Simon came back at some point, you still don't hear anything about I don't think you've heard anything his whole career about him working hard. Or working hard.
I've actually heard a lot from Dame in particular saying that he's one of the harder workers on the team. But
I mean, maybe he is. I just find it curious that like you hear all this stuff about Mario and Nasir and Gary Trent Jr. last summer, and like you don't hear the same. It just doesn't feel the same in regards to Anthony, and with his temperament, I don't know. Nasir Little is a hard worker. You know Gary Trent Jr. is a hard worker. You don't know that about Anthony Simons. And the fact that you haven't really seen any improvement with his body, and just based off the first scrimmage, not trying to make any assumptions that are too early, didn't seem like he improved any, during this layoff in terms of his play. Where you could notice it with other guys. I'm just worried, Just worried about
yeah, I mean, it's a unique situation. Like I said, for some reason, he still seems like a kid to me. And
but like Nas is younger than him,
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like I know people are younger than him and are way better along physically. I just feel like I don't know. It just seems like he's still approaching the game as someone who's so young and still learning.
Like mentally?
Mentally. Like he's not there yet. But I feel like if he ever gets there, that he's going to be a really good player. But yeah, it's definitely, you can see him like starting to question himself every time he misses and stuff. But I'm still hopeful that, because he has the athleticism. I feel like he has shown like in summer league and like the last game of last year that he can shoot the ball, even with his form being kind of messed up. So maybe it's just a case of his form might not be consistent enough to ever be great, but the coaches haven't told him to change it yet either, or he's not comfortable changing it or something. But I still like his long-term outlet.
He just misses too wildly, It's not like he consistently misses short or consistently. Like, he misses all over the place. He does have a thumb flick. And you can... Like, Steph Curry has a bit of a thumb flick. So you can do fine with a thumb flick, but it can cause issues at the same time. With Anthony, it's just like he misses all over the place. You have to wonder if that's something that's bothering his shot. Beavis and Butthead said... Bro, sometimes you struggle as you develop. Calm down. Before that, he said, guarantee Ant works his ass off. Oh, are you in the practice facility seeing him work his ass off day in and day out? I'm not saying that he doesn't work hard, right? I'm just questioning because I don't know and you don't hear the same type of stuff. I know you don't know any better than I do. So your guarantees don't really hold that type of weight. You guys need to chill. See, bro, this is the type of thing.
Good night, Ben.
This is the type of thing that I don't understand, man. I'm not saying that he won't end up being a great player. I'm just a little worried, and I'm a little down on him at the moment. I'm a little down on his long-term potential, and I have some questions as far as him. That is, as far as like not being positive, that is as chill as it gets. I think I am being completely chill. I'm being completely chill in regards to Simons. I don't understand how I'm not being chill. Given the benefit of the doubt, that's always been given, right? That's all Anthony's been given, right? Like, people have hyped him up so much without him proving anything and talked so good about him for so long. Like, he's been given the benefit of the doubt and been hyped up and that type of stuff. Just raising a couple questions isn't an unfair thing to do. I'm saying chill as in don't worry so much. I mean, you're going to have questions with most young players. You know, it's not... He was the 24th overall pick. There are going to be question marks about him.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Zacho where, like, I mean, no one could have seen CJ being as good as he was once he came in his third year and got an opportunity to start. But I feel like we forget that CJ, especially like in Summer League and when they tried to force him to be a point guard, he was an awful ball handler his first couple of years. And it was really like his third, fourth year when he became one of the better ball handlers in the league. So that still gives me hope that someone, because Simons looks a lot like him when he tries to run the offense as CJ did his first couple of years. Yeah, I feel like they're kind of forcing him to be a point guard, and that's not his skill set yet. I'm hoping he can develop into a point guard because of his body. He's not going to be able to play any other position. But so hopefully he can learn to use his skills better and improve his ball handling.
Right now he doesn't have a skill set for a shooting guard either. He doesn't have a skill set for any position at the moment. But just because he's not hitting shots, you know. If he could hit shots.
Most of the time when he plays, he's the point guard or he's the point guard, but not playing point guard like Mario's bringing the ball up or something. But yeah,
I get what you're saying. The key difference with CJ before he blew up, even CJ in college, and Anthony, is like, excuse me, this is Pepsi kicking my ass. CJ, when his ball handling, you know, when he was struggling with that, when it wasn't what it is now, you know, before he made the improvements in that area, I still liked the way he moved with the ball. I liked the way he moved his body with the ball. That is the key difference that has me a little worried about Simons, is I don't like the way he physically, you know, just as biomechanics, I just don't like the way he moves. Like, he has so much progress that needs to be made in that regard. Maybe you can look at it like, oh, well, if he does make that progress, it could open up his entire game. Well, yeah, I mean, that's where his upside lies in, you know, his athleticism combined with if he can fix that. The thing is, biomechanics are so hard to fix because they're so, like, wired into your brain. That's why I'm a little bit worried, you know. It's hard to teach somebody to, like, change the way they stride or, you know, teach them how to get better angles between their, you know, their foot and their shin to maintain balance and explode in a different direction, that type of stuff. Like, biomechanics are hard to change, hard to teach, in my opinion. One of the hardest things to make changes in. So, yeah.
So I have two points. One, kind of agreeing with you in, you see a guy like Jalen Adams come in, and immediately you can tell he's comfortable with the ball in his hands and knows what to do with it. And I'm not like trying to say Jalen Adams is better than him or good or anything. I don't know that based on seeing him for 2 minutes in a scrimmage game. But like, you could just tell when he got the ball and drove, like, he was doing it with a purpose and a demeanor that he was very confident and comfortable. Whereas Ant, like you said, is a little off with those, a little unsure of himself, gets into trouble a lot. But I will say, on several of his drives, even when he does that, like, he has that little step back around the key, and he creates like 3 or 4 feet of space to shoot those little mid-range jumpers, and they're just not falling right now. But if he can ever develop that into falling, or learn how to use that into more of like a floater instead of a step back jumper type shot, he does create space on a lot of his moves and shots despite his bad footwork. So that's what gives me hope that he still
Yeah.
could develop that into a good player.
Thing is, though, like scoring is really his only high potential attribute, right? Like if he ends up developing well, he could end up being a case where like he's still not a good passer, he's still not a good defender. Like that's very likely, I think. He might become an average passer, but like his prototype is kind of CJ-esque. CJ's not a great passer for a shooting guard. He's not a good defender, right? But he's such a good scorer that he's still a really good player. With Simon, it's like, yeah, he can get off different types of shots here and now, and, he'll get better at that type of stuff. But it's just like, if he's only a scorer first guard, and that's basically like his prototype, there's still so much improvement, like, where I'm just not, like, he's supposed to end up being a scorer, so, like, those little step backs and stuff like that, it's like, that's like watching Nasir Little play a good possession of defense for me. Like, you know what I mean? It's just not like that's what he's supposed to be doing. Like, what can he build off of that? And I don't know.
But you're saying he's overstriding and not getting to, but he does get to his spots well. Like I'm just saying, like I think he can build on that. He just needs to finish the shot. Yeah, like I don't know, which is hard to do. Like, but a little bit of that too is, I mean. They always talk about how the game's fast for people, and once it slows down is when you make those big improvements. And obviously, the game hasn't slowed down.
I mean, it's not a speed thing, but like he can get to his spots out of like driving straight to his spot. So like those step backs, like he can drive straight to his spot, get to there. Like he can do that sometimes, right? The thing is, like to be a very effective scorer, which is what he's going to need to be if he ends up being a good player because he kind of struggles at everything else. You have to be able to change direction well and get guys off balance well and just do a lot more than be able to just like straight line drive and maybe straight line drive to a spot, step back. Like you need to have more in your bag, more in your repertoire, if that makes sense. So I don't know. He honestly, who he reminds me of in terms of his biomechanics, and this might surprise people. I don't know if you're going to agree with this. He reminds me of a guard version, and this isn't based off his ball handling or anything, just the way his body moves. He reminds me of a guard version of Aminu.
Yeah, I don't really see that.
Just his footwork and his biomechanics and just kind of the way he steps and his like shin angles and his base is almost too wide. And he kind of like gets sunk into the floor when trying to make moves, and he kind of struggles to explode out of it. It's kind of Aminu-esque in that way. Obviously, he's quicker, more athletic, smaller, so looks a little different, better ball handler. So like, he looks different because of those things. But just in terms of his biomechanics, a lot of his flaws remind me of the same biomechanical flaws that Aminu has.
Yeah, I don't really see that, but I mean, I get where you're going with it. I just don't see that. Yeah. They're just way different players.
Well, I'm just talking biomechanically.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that'll make those things look different, which I'm a nerd. I've watched numerous videos on like basketball biomechanics and stuff. That's something that's really underrated when it comes to player development in high school in general, is like developing, proper biomechanics, proper footwork, proper body positioning, and that type of stuff. So it is something that's a bit overlooked. But Aminu had a wide base too and kind of got sunk into the ground, and Aminu kind of overstrode as well. So I guess that's kind of where the comparisons come from in terms of that. I don't know. I'm not talking play style, Zaka. I'm just talking biomechanics. DeRozan at 6 foot doesn't work. DeRozan at 6 foot probably isn't an NBA. To be honest. Because a lot of those mid-range that he shoots are probably going to struggle to get off. Everything good?
Yeah, I'm just having issues with my keyboard and mouse receiver thing.
Oh, got you.
Tripping out, yeah.
I couldn't tell if you were just, like, tired or just, like, focused on something. Wasn't talking about me. Oh, okay. His style reminds me of a worse version of me, says Westbrook. I mean, hopefully Simons ends up well. But you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy, bro? I think Gary Trent Jr. might have already surpassed Simons in terms of his shot creation off the dribble. What do you think on that?
I I don't know. That's tough for me because, like I said, if you go back to and look at summer league last year, Simons was doing a lot of shot creation off the dribble, and then he got hurt and didn't play in the last few games, and like our offense couldn't do anything. And I know it's summer league, but like he was making step back threes, he was driving. Like I like the way he was playing a lot. I just haven't seen that this year much. But I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I'm basing it too much off of what I saw today, but
Yeah.
but like some of the you don't see. I don't think I've ever seen Anthony hit a three off a snatch back dribble the way Gary Trent Jr. did. I don't think.
Oh, he did that like
Off a behind the back snatch back.
he did that
like
at
that?
least twice during summer league last year. Yeah.
Off a behind the back snatch back. You're gonna have to
Yeah.
find me the film. Gary Trent Jr. did it against NBA defender. It might have been Jakar frickin' Sampson or Alize Johnson. They kind of started scrubs, so I guess kind of the same level players. I don't remember Anthony ever doing something like that. So I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
I mean,
But
just
what's up?
I was just gonna say, I mean, just because like one person did a behind the back dribble and
No,
it
I'm not
actually
just
worked out doesn't mean it's
Come
like,
on, you know me better than that. You know I'm not just basing it off one play. Like, I don't know. Gary Trent Jr. just gets to his
it's like
spots.
Dame doesn't do that either. So are you saying Trent's better than Dame?
Dame's done a snatch back, and obviously Dame has a lot more like moves off the dribble. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot more limited for both Gary Trent Jr. and Anthony Simons. So I don't know, man. Like, and I'm not saying that Gary Trent Jr. has, but like Gary Trent Jr. has improved a lot in that, and I think it's a debatable argument that you can have in terms of comparing Anthony's and Gary Trent's off the dribble shot creation. Like I think that's a debatable argument. The fact that that's a debatable argument is kind of crazy because Anthony was supposed to be so far ahead of Gary Trent Jr. coming into the league. Like that was like the one area that Anthony was supposed to be like far ahead of Gary Trent Jr. coming into the league. I feel like, so, and part of that was Gary Trent Jr. wasn't supposed to be that type of player, really.
I still see almost all of Gary Trent's like shots off the dribble are like, other than that one obviously was nice and he created a ton of space, but usually he pulls up and he's got a defender like right in his face and he can still get it off over them.
Yeah.
Whereas Ant, I feel like creates a lot of separation that Trent doesn't. It's just Trent finishes better than Ant does. So yeah, I don't see Trent being. I mean, hopefully he builds off those moves he had in this game, but I haven't seen enough of it consistently to say that he's better at creating or driving or anything like that.
I've seen him do like a snatch backwards between the legs, like kind of like the one he did today, but between the legs instead. I've seen him do like the pound the left foot in and sidestep to the right. He's good. An underrated part of Gary Trent Jr.'s, I think, is his ability to come to a controlled kind of jump stop or quick like 1-2, a hop into a 1-2, gather in the lane, and control his body and finish with that. Just that type of stuff I'm impressed with. So, I don't know. It's just crazy to see like Anthony struggling to create stuff off the dribble, and then Gary Trent Jr. like creating stuff off the dribble. It's just crazy because it just seems like Gary Trent Jr. was supposed to be more NBA ready, but he's improved over his first year and a half than Anthony Simons, or during his first 2 years than Anthony Simons has, and maybe that's part of him being NBA ready. I don't know.
The only thing I'll say to that is when you're put in a role where you have to run the second unit, there's so much more on your plate than being a wing and just getting to worry about shooting and working on your ball handling and stuff like that. So I feel like Simons has a lot more on his plate going into the season and like trying to, because he's not just working on trying to improve his shot or whatever, or his defense, or he's trying to improve everything, including running the offense. Whereas Trent would never be put in a role where he's the point guard, so he doesn't have to worry about how to set up the offense or do anything other than score and play defense. So I feel like players like that will always be an advantage on improving those skills when that's all you have to focus on versus someone who has so many things he needs to improve on.
Yep. I'm going to be labeled an Ant hater now all of a sudden,
Yeah.
a Simons hater, it just somehow it just revolves around the team, just based on my
somehow
opinions.
You're like Gary Trent's #1 fan and now you hate him.
Bro, I'm not, yeah, I mean, people are like, bro, you can't admit when you're wrong. I'm like, what do you mean? I change my opinions when I'm wrong and I'll change it. Like, I was down on Gary Trent Jr. this time last year. Now I'm all on board. So yeah, it's I don't like when people refuse to change their opinions because they don't want to like be wrong. You know what I mean? Or they don't want to, they want to hold on to the opinion they had before, even though everything in their face is telling them otherwise in front of their face. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just interesting to compare Anthony to the young guys, and it's just hard to project young guys in the NBA. I mean, I'm excited to watch Nasir, man, because there's been, they've been raving about him. And his shot, and they've been saying he's doing stuff off the dribble, and honestly, like that clip he had against CJ creating off the dribble, the one that you retweeted and I responded to, like just because we were talking about biomechanics, like Nasir Little's biomechanics in that clip looked really good. Like I like the way Nasir Little was moving with the ball. It's just kind of interesting to compare that to Simons, who I don't like the way he moves with the ball. You know what I mean? I don't know. But he has more quickness and better ball handling ability. So I don't know. Like each guy has like pieces to the puzzle. It's just like it's hard to predict who's gonna like add enough to like complete the puzzle, if that makes sense in terms of their development and reach their ceiling. So
I'm hoping it's all of the above.
Okay, this is a great question for you in chat. Out of Nasir Little, Gary Trent Jr., and Anthony Simons, who becomes the best in their prime? Who's going to be the best player out of those three in their prime? That's tough.
That's a tough one. This would have been easy a few months ago.
People would have said, "Yeah,
going to the season." Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of Nasir.
See, it's hard because Trent's by far the safest choice there because he's the closest to already being there. But I think Little and Simon's ceiling is so much higher than Trent's. It's just tough to vote against someone who's already showing that they can have that ceiling,
Yeah. So what's your answer though? Like if you had to put your money down today on who would become the best in their prime, who are you betting on?
It's so hard because on this team, if you're talking about for the Blazers, I think it's Little because he's the only one of the three that plays a position that can become a superstar without conflicting with Dame and CJ.
Yeah, but by the time Anthony's 28, Dame will be like 36.
Yeah,
he'll be playing a lot.
I know. I'm just saying, like, so he's got the clearest path to playing time, even if he's good. Because, like, no matter how good Gary and Ant play, I think they're always going to be limited on how many minutes they can get or whether they start or not. Because, like, Anthony was basically can never be a starter as long as Dave and CJ are on the team. So
they might trade CJ in the next 5 years, Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they make a trade, obviously.
Like, especially if Anthony or Trent is looking phenomenal, like, it increases the likelihood that they trade CJ.
Yeah.
That's why I
So
wasn't
yeah,
even taking any of that into account.
I'll probably say Little just for that, but yeah, I
Yeah.
think Trent's definitely. If I had to put money on it, I'd say Trent, just because, like, I mean, you never know. People wash out all the time, so Trent's by far the closest to being that player already.
Yeah. I would put my money on Nasir because I think, like, I like Gary Trent Jr.'s mindset too, and I don't really have anything against Anthony's mindset. I love. I feel like Nasir has the right mental makeup to really become just a legitimately good player. He's has the best combination of size plus athleticism of the three. And I think he's the hardest. I don't know. It's kind of hard to guess, but if I had to guess, he's probably the hardest worker out of the three. He's also the youngest out of the three.
I don't know. Trent seems like a pretty hard worker too.
Oh, I know. That's why I said it's kind of hard to guess, because it's kind of splitting hairs because both of them work their ass off. But yeah, I just feel like Nasir at some point is just going to become like a multifaceted scorer off the dribble. Like he's shown flashes of that, and I just feel like with his work ethic and his like blossoming confidence apparently in terms of how he's playing in practice and stuff, I just feel like with his improvements on his jump shot and just like that, I shouldn't base too much off that clip against CJ. Just like I kind of like the way he moves with the ball. He doesn't have a bad handle for being like an athletic raw forward who barely turned 20. He doesn't have a bad handle. So
good night, Alex Morgan.
Good night, man. So yeah, I have to put it on Nasir. That's definitely the toughest question I've ever asked on air. Wavo, I'm not even going to argue with that. Man, all this calling out of the work ethic is fighting words. Man, I'm not even saying any of them don't work hard. I don't hear enough about Anthony to know he works hard. That's my whole point. I know that Nasir and Gary Trent Jr. work hard, so it's not even negative,
I feel like Javo lately, I brought this up on Discord, but I feel like he's just like trying to be like not a problem, but like he's trying to like to disagree with everything people say now. Like
you've noticed that too.
Yeah.
I almost just finished the sentence for you because
he's trying to say like controversial stuff like Zacho said
mm-hmm.
versus actually saying like what he actually thinks. So that, like it just feels like everything he says is just like you could say like, oh, Little's gonna be great. No, he's not. Like that's all he ever says now is like stuff like that. He doesn't.
Yep. I never even see perfect example. I never said he was going to become a superstar, but here he is saying, "Bro, Nasir doesn't have the skill set to become a superstar." I said, "I think Nasir will become a legitimately good player." That's what I said. But here he is, like, "Bro, superstar? What?"
Later, Malcolm. Have a good one.
Work ethic is good and all, but perform on the court, please. Well, how do you think you end up performing on the court? You put in that work. Just ask Dame. Wenyan could have the higher potential than all three of them. No, I don't agree with that. I don't know. Eric?
Yeah, I hope they keep Wenyan next year for cheap, but yeah, I don't know if he's ever going to get enough minutes to develop into a superstar, whereas Little will have every chance to earn minutes in the future, I think.
I feel like Wenyan could easily be another Wade Baldwin, because Blazer fans loved Wade Baldwin, and Wade Baldwin had flashes, and it was like, oh my goodness, his defense and his size, and he's decently athletic. Like, I feel like that's kind of the same things we're saying about Wenyan, his defense and his lankiness and his athletic, decently athletic. Like, what else though, I don't know. I mean, if Wenyan could consistently shoot, he'll stick, I think. But he has to be able to consistently hit threes.
He's one of those players who, he hasn't shown it on the Blazers yet, but his offensive game has improved a lot since college. So if he can keep improving at that level, eventually he could become confident on that end. But yeah, definitely not good enough player on that end of the court to be better than those three, I think. But
he said, "Bookmark, don't delete." Yeah, because I'm just gonna delete the stream. Trust me, this is like the one stream on this channel to not delete.
That's not the worst take. I mean, a lot of people like Baldwin. I mean, not Baldwin.
I think he was talking about. I think he was talking about us calling him out.
Oh, Java.
Yes, Wavo. He's trying to. You can't hand out your own dubs, man.
Yeah.
You gotta let others hand them out to you, bro.
Dude, this guy. So I was tweeting during the game, and he replies to one of my tweets saying, "I can't believe this tweet got that many likes."
Bro, Javo said that?
Yeah, dude.
Bro, Javo, man, why you being so feisty and mean lately, bro?
And then he was like, "I didn't mean that as an insult. You just don't have enough followers to get that many likes on it." I'm like, bro, what the heck?
I'm not insulting you. You just don't have enough clout to get these amount of likes. What the hell, man?
I forgot what it was, but like he's done that to me like 2 or 3 times in the last week, and I'm like, dude, what the heck?
Hopefully Javo's not like mad, struggling with something in his personal life, just taking it out on us, because then I feel bad about making fun of it. But Javo, man, you gotta chill, man. You keep we don't need people's mixes role to be filled, okay? That is a role we don't want filled, all right? That's a role we're trying to retire, all right? We don't need anybody to fill it. That troll, that super troll, Javo's entering like super troll territory. I
felt like it's not even trolling, it's just like mean.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably because we said we don't think he's guaranteed to make the NBA. So that's probably why it's over, to be honest.
Java's mix.
We need you guys to vent our frustrations. Hey, that's what this chat's for. Instead of watching, outsiders talk about halftime performances, you can listen to us talk about basketball and type in a chat and vent. That's the alternative. Chad Doing's radio show's on the middle, because you can call in there and get on the air and rant. Of course, you can't cuss or anything, but you can get on air. I wouldn't want to even risk that for YouTube, because I feel like we just get a troll that would say some stuff that, you know what I mean? I don't know, because they can regulate it on a radio show, but it'd be dope. It'd be dope to have that, but hope Nas is back on Sunday. Yeah, that was the number one guy I was excited to see, man. Watch Nas be like healthy and Stotts not play him. Watch. He'll play him like he played Jalen Adams today.
That actually wouldn't surprise me.
Because Mario played so well.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that'd be frustrating.
He's too busy giving 36 minutes to Melo, Whiteside, and Nurkic as a front line.
Bro, oh my goodness.
If Collins only plays like 18 minutes in some of the games when it actually matters, I'm gonna be so mad.
Mm-hmm. Bro, it doesn't even feel like we have the Carmelo Anthony on our team anymore, because he's so much skinnier than he used to be, and he's so much more raggedy than he used to be. That doesn't even seem like it's Hall of Famer Carmelo Anthony. It seems like it's off-brand Carmelo Anthony. He's just a lot skinnier and a lot more overgrown and stuff. Doesn't even look anything like how he did in his prime. You know what I mean? Everybody's kind of going wild with hair though. You got CJ, you got Nurk, you got Trent. I like Trent's hair.
Man, LeBron's beard was all gray today.
LeBron looks. Hey, I like the beard with LeBron, man.
Yeah.
He looks fierce. He just looks badass with a beard. I'll give him that.
I don't get him and Harden, man. I would hate playing basketball with a beard.
I would
that's
too.
Sweaty
Get
and
so hot.
Yeah. I hate just a little bit.
It's where you just wipe. You just you got out on the court, you can't easily get a towel to like dab your forehead, right? If you're Harden, you just take your beard and like dab your forehead, wipe your face with your beard.
Yeah.
Honestly, that actually surprised
No,
he doesn't
but then it
actually
just-
do that.
It's gross when it's wet. Yeah, I don't know. It's
Tuck it inside your jersey. Yeah, I don't know. Harden looks weird with a beard. Oh, he looked weird without a beard because we're so used to him having a beard. I feel like one of
Right.
these days he's going to show up to a game just without a beard, just like to mess with people.
yeah.
Like one day when he's older, I would do it. You have the beard your whole career.
He should have done that when he came out of quarantine.
Everybody's like growing everything out, and he's just like clear, pretty much shaved head, no beard. That'd be so weird, man. Because if you look back at him in like college, it just doesn't look like Harden. He doesn't have a beard. That chin has not seen the light of day in years, man. Who knows what's down there? What do you think of Jordan Kent today?
It was okay. I didn't think it was terrible, but I didn't think it was good either. It was kind of hard. It's definitely a tough situation having to do the games without being there. Yeah, I mean he messed up a few times, but I don't know. It wasn't super bothersome.
Calabro messed up all the time anyway,
Yeah. It felt like he was doing his like halftime show just during the whole game, like
Yeah.
he wasn't much different than he was on the highlights. I kind of just want them to be quiet and listen to like the sounds of the game, but that's just my personal opinion. It has nothing to do with those two guys. But yeah.
You know what they should have done? They should have just let Lamar Hurd go solo. Lamar Hurd, I feel like, could go solo. Like, be the play-by-play and color commentator. Like, he's kind of like a hype man, you know what I mean? So, like, I feel like Lamar's play-by-play would actually be fun to listen to. I don't know. That's what they should have done. Instead of, like, forcing Jordan into that role, taking him off the halftime show. Just let Lamar go solo. Yeah, I don't know. Because Jordan Kent's just too, like... for the scrimmages is fine. I think it'll kind of stick out during the regular season. Like, I think he's just too monotone. Like, I just imagine, like... What would Jordan Kent's reaction be as the play-by-play guy if, like, Dame hit a game-ending... or a series-ending buzzer beater? You know what I mean? I feel like it would just not match the moment at all. I don't know. I've never heard him like sound like super excited about anything,
Yeah, it's tough because he's thrown into a spot where he doesn't have a lot of experience. I think he'll get better. It's just I don't know if he'll be around doing it long enough to show a lot of improvement.
Probably not. And I mean, I'm not faulting him because it's not like his like job description. He's just tossed in there. Like if you tossed me in an NBA game, it wouldn't be my fault that I wasn't an NBA player. Like it wouldn't be my fault that I sucked. So it's just I'm not gonna complain about it. I saw some people complain about it. Like I'm not going to actively complain about it. It's not his fault. It just is what it is. And it's what. Couple more scrimmages, 8 more games, 10 more games, hopefully more.
28 something.
28 something. We'll sweep every team. Is that real? Rice? Jordan Kent used to commentate Pro Super Smash Bros, so he should have some experience with play-by-play. Get Mike Breen.
He says, yeah, that seems weird.
Mike Breen, they're doing national broadcast though, so if Torrey was 6'10", he wouldn't be in the NBA because he would have been at 6'4" if he was going to make it. What are you talking about? I feel like that's just a troll tweet or a troll post, but I don't understand the like somebody said that before or something. I don't know. If I was 6'10", do you think I'd be in the NBA?
That's so hard because I think his point is that you would have had a different mentality and all that stuff. I mean, if you were just saying like right right now you grew to 6'10", or like say when you were 18 you hit a growth spurt and were like 6'10", then I think you'd have a pretty good shot.
I would have definitely like committed to it a lot more than I did. I wouldn't have quit college ball for a girl that, I actually kind of regret quitting college ball for now. But I would have definitely committed at that height. I just knew I was never gonna make it. I think if you're 7-footer, you'd be in the NBA. So, just imagining you younger, a little more spry and more, not broken down like you were for so long. With that post work and that passing, bro. You should have grown another 6 inches, man.
I know.
I could be talking about, Blazers Uprise with former Trailblazer Eric Brandt, and we could have like freaking 30,000 subs, but you didn't grow, so I blame you. But
yeah, it was what? So 15 is what, like freshman or sophomore in high school, Wava?
I was taller than that at 15. I was 6'2".
Yeah. I was 6 feet between 6th and 7th grade, which would have been, I would have been like 12 or 13.
Mm-hmm. Don't make the mistake of thinking that you're guaranteed to grow until like the end of high school, because some people stop growing as like freshmen in high school, Javo. So if like you're 6 foot at 15, you might be done growing, bro. Or you might end up like Anthony Davis. I don't know. Depends kind of on how tall your parents are, but my parents are 5'9" and 5'4", and I'm 6'4". So, it's not just that. Genetic luck,
I like how Java thinks he's guaranteed to be in the NBA, but he's saying, like, at best he's going to try to be 6'4".
How are you going to try to be 6'4"? What are you going to do to try to be 6'4"? Trevin was 6 foot. I imagine Trevin being short. Trevin, how tall are you?
I was going to say, like, 5'8".
Yeah.
But he was 6 feet, like, a couple years ago.
Yeah, he shrunk. Because if he's, like, taller than 6 foot, I've never heard Trevin talk about, like, him playing basketball. Did you do some weird-ass stretch? What are you talking about, Destro? Stretcher rack? Oh, no. I shoulda. I should have slept more and ate more vegetables growing up. Apparently that helps you grow. That's what my mom said, and I was like, no. I honestly like vegetables, too. I should eat more vegetables right now, but I'm too lazy. I don't have my own kitchen at the moment, actually. So that's one of the things when I move out, I'm going to try and learn how to cook. That'll be fun. That'll be probably tragic, but...
This sucks, man. Because Russell, first round exit Westbrook, says, Trevin's taller than me, but I would still body him in the paint. See, I would love to be like, you know what, tomorrow, 5 o'clock, let's meet up at this park, and I want to see Trevin and Westbrook go at it in the paint and see what happens. Like, that'd be so fun right now. But yeah. Bro,
if we can do that in January, we're doing that in January. I don't care how cold it is, bro. I don't care, which, not even to get in on that. I still have some optimism. Man. Sometime next year. I just figure it out so we can have Rip City 3-on-3 next year and we're good. All right, like, that's all I care about.
Hey. So, Javo is 6 foot 120. Dang, man. But he's guaranteed to be in the NBA.
And you are a year... Okay, so he's like the age of a 10th grader, and he's 6 foot.
He's 9th grade, yeah, he said.
Yeah, but he said he stayed an extra year in kindergarten.
Mm.
Kindergartens. He had multiple kindergartens. Need to gain more weight? Yeah, I was skinny as hell, and I was 6'2", 160. So, man, you were skinnier than I am, man. Oh, my goodness. He used to, bro, why was he talking like he could take me, bro? I'd literally just defensively slide. There would be just a little bit of contact, and he'd just fall.
Man, I'm like over 2 times the size.
Bro, you'd break Javo, man. I would let Javo get by me just to meet you at the rim. Poor Javo, bro. But, he's been talking all that trash to you. You know, yeah, I think he'd be scared to challenge you at the rim, man. All that trash you've been talking.
What's up with the jump program? You gonna give me that?
Me?
I want to do that with you.
Yeah, I can. A lot of it requires box jumps, which is the problem. You have gyms open down by you, though, don't you?
Yeah, I haven't felt comfortable going to them though,
Yeah.
and I think they're about to close down again.
So I'm going to buy box jumps. I'm going to
Okay.
buy box jumps. Other than that, like, I think one day a week, it's best to go find a hill outside for some of them. So, yeah, man, I can give it to you. I can show it to you, or just send you like the workout sheet and explain it, that type of thing.
So Mario had a good one. You'd have to play him indoors, Tori, because it was too windy. He might blow away to the next block.
True. True.
Oh God.
Oh God, man. That was my. Oh, bro.
Java is. He never learns to check his. No humbleness at all.
Yeah, man. But he won't. He still can't get a freaking recording of him playing basketball. You know, still can't. Still have just no proof backing up any of that talk. You've literally. I'm not sure. Like, bro, you don't know how big. How tall is your dad and how much does he weigh, Javo? How strong is he?
Man, when I was in high school, I was like 6'6", like maybe 200.
Yeah.
I was pretty skinny, yeah.
Bro,
I could not put on weight. I tried everything to put on weight. I could not do it.
See, I have the opposite problem. I'm 220. I want to get down to 200.
Yeah.
Just to feel light again. Because I just like that feeling.
Yeah, he's fast. You better be fast if you only weigh 120.
Yeah, you got to get by your defender before you even
if you're
like,
not if you're not fast, then you have no weight. Like,
Yeah.
You're not.
I mean, that's the thing though. Is kids like you that weigh that little are not. You're just not. You're not good enough to like beat a guy like me or Eric. Because you can get too easily bumped off your drive. You can't control your body around the rim with that little weight, man. Like, you know, that you'll gain weight and get better at that, I'm sure. But, yeah, I think you just, my dad's 6'3", 330. He's another you, Eric. He's 6'3", 330. Come on, man. That's shorter than Eric, and no offense to your dad, a lot rounder, a lot bigger. Which is fine, you know. Eric's just, what, 6'6", 260? 260?
It's probably close to like 280 now. I don't know. I haven't weighed myself in months.
280? Yeah, I guess not too bad. But, I don't know. Good old basketball talk of the freaking show. Javo, get me footage. Are you playing, bro? I want to see it. All right? I want to see it, bro. You can talk as much as you want. I ain't taking any of it seriously, all right? The only way you'll be able to get me to take anything you say seriously is if you actually back it up with some video proof. Until then, I ain't believing a single thing, bro. So back it up. Let's see it. You got a tablet, you said? Right? You said last stream you got a tablet, right? If you got a hoop, you can set up your tablet, record yourself, post it on YouTube, and give us the link.
I think he said he didn't have access to a hoop or something. But...
Dang, how is he that good and doesn't have access to a hoop? He's like never actually played basketball. He's just automatically just phenomenal.
I know someday when I do actually pick up a ball, I'll be good.
Oh, man. Even video doesn't mean...
I think Beavis and Butthead, he lives in like South America or something, so it's not possible to meet up with him.
Yep. Nicaragua, I think you said? Just 3D print a hoop.
all this 2K gonna pay off one day.
Bro, I swear some people think they know basketball because they play 2K a lot, man. I swear. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I haven't shot a basketball in over 2 months. I don't know how it's gonna be. I'll sit here and visualize and Steve Nash, but I miss him, man. I want to go indoors. I want to play.
Just have it on mute.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even have the ability that Eric does, because you can go play basketball, right?
No, I haven't played either.
Oh. In the next phase, they were going to reopen gyms, and I was going to be able to shoot around indoors. You weren't allowed to play, like, 1-on-1 or 2v2 or anything, but you were allowed to shoot around by yourself, and, like, if there was not too many people in the gym, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, all the parks around me, they took the rims off the hoops.
Yeah. They didn't do that here, so... All of them? Like, every single one?
Every park I've been to, the rims
That's
are gone.
crazy. That's crazy.
I'm sure there's some that aren't, but
They didn't go to those lengths. I just don't see anybody playing. Actually, I know some people that consistently play. That do consistently play, but I don't know. Has it been better there the past few days for you guys, or?
I haven't seen the last couple days. I know, was it yesterday? They just imposed some new stricter mask mandates and some others. They dropped it back down to 10 meetings or less, 10 people per less for meetings. And
Yeah, that's what they did here.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't pay anywhere near as much attention to it as I used to. Because now at this point, it's just like we're stuck in it, you know. We ain't improving. Before it was like, oh, we could improve and, you know, have things open up. Now it's just like we ain't going forward. We ain't going forward, but it's all right.
I need to try to trim the branches around my hoop at my mom's house and just go shoot there.
Or just go steal it.
Well, it's not a portable one. It's cemented into the ground. But the problem
Steal
is it's like at its highest peak, it's like 9'10", so it's not a full 10 feet. So it kind of sucks.
It means you can work
but it's still good to like shoot.
You can work on your white side dunks. Dude, I'm scared to run again though. So I had a drop off today. I had a delivery today. There's like this weird driveway that was uphill and it like curved, so I couldn't see how long it was. I didn't think it was that long. So I parked at the bottom of the hill. I walked up it. It was longer than I expected. Dude, just walking up a hill for 30 seconds, my legs and muscles were so messed up.
That's funny.
Bro, it's scary. Like, I don't know if I can run. Like, it'll take me a while to, like, be able to physically handle just jogging for 2 minutes. That is like, that's scary. That's, like, how little I've, like, actually exercised. You know? Like, I don't know. Because did you have that when you came back from your injury?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
How do you overcome that? Like, how is, like, key for that?
You just have to do cardio every day and get back to normal. Yeah. But yeah, it's just, except for the weather lately, I've been like craving just going out and running, but I know I can't like go very long right now. So like, is it even worth trying right now? Cause like I'll be dead after like a block of running.
Yeah. God, I don't even have the time right now. I literally got to work 12 hours a day the next 3 days. Like, I don't know. It's like I wouldn't want to do it unless I could do it consistently. Because if you don't do it consistently, you just hurt, like, and you don't make progress. Yeah. You know, so it's just like, what's the point? For me, it's just like, dude, I need to get past this. And the past 4 weeks, I kind of struggled. You know, I didn't make as much money as I did, so I'm a little bit behind. So now I got a couple more weeks of working as much as I've been working. It's just like, just stuck in a rut, man. But at least we got basketball back, you know?
Yeah. Oh, man. Eat a bowl of rice says I was transporting wooden boards today for work, and the struts that held them down snapped, and like 40 boards fell onto a busy ass street.
Ooh, that's
That sucks.
sketchy. That's
Did you have to
sketchy.
pick them all up?
You dodging traffic, playing Frogger, picking up boards. Just run to houses for work. Man, I don't want to like be sweaty going inside restaurants to pick up food though. I got too much, too much game to spit. I can't be sweaty.
Threw them to the sidewalk. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to handle that. Nah, man, I've honestly just been enjoying like I actually have delivered for restaurants enough that I'm like getting to know like people that work there. I'm
Hmm.
not trying to walk in and be all sweaty. So like
Right.
DoorDash
That,
on a bike is hell. Yeah, and it wouldn't work in Vancouver.
so I've got like two contradictory things going for me right now. One is I feel like the rest was really good for my foot because like I when I started playing again, I was wanting to play like all the time, and I felt
Hmm.
like I was kind of pushing it a little too much. So like being forced to stop
Yeah.
wasn't necessarily the bad. Like it sucks mentally and like wanting to play basketball and stuff like that, but I didn't think it was that bad. But now that like I have extra weight from not exercising, it's going to be harder to like get back in shape because like I put on like my feet can't take all that extra weight running around. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, so it'll be interesting once we start being able to go again. I really just need to suck it up and start jogging every night or something.
Yeah, so do I. I just need to wake up earlier though. Because that's the problem is I'll wake up at like 2 and immediately work and work until like 10, 11 at night. So like every hour a day like, I'm just working, you know? Um, thing is, if I woke up at 11 in the morning, I'd probably start work at 11 and work until 10 or 11 at night, you know? Like, that's just kind of where my mind's at.
Yeah,
So, I don't know. I mean, like, I guess it's not out of laziness, which I was the laziest person 4 months ago. I was so lazy. It was crazy. It was crazy bad, man. Like, I'll admit it now. I was just lazy as hell before this pandemic hit.
yeah. The only good thing we bought a set of like dumbbells, like a nice dumbbell rack with different size weights and stuff. So,
Hmm.
been able to like lift weights when I want to at home. I just don't have like a way to
Yeah.
do cardio very easily.
You don't got a treadmill or anything?
No treadmill.
Yeah.
No.
I don't like treadmills anyway. I feel
Yeah.
like I just like my strides are too long. I'm going to run off the back or run off the front. So,
I, for the most part, they hurt my feet, but I've never really had knee problems. But that it just wreaks havoc on my knees when I
hmm,
try to run a treadmill. But
yeah. Tori was going to sleep at 11 a.m. and waking up at 7 p.m. at one point. No, I wasn't waking up at 7. I was going to bed at like 9 and waking up at 5 p.m. For a while there, it was rough. I've always been somebody that likes to be up at night a bit. And
there was a couple of laser caves where you didn't wake up in time, and those are like 7 o'clock games.
no, actually, like twice, I like couldn't fall asleep till 1 in the afternoon. That was a rough time. Now I fall asleep at like 5 in the morning, and it's still like not a good time for most people, but it's better than I was for a bit. Thing is, the two people I like spent the most time with were uh, always up at night. The person I like play video games with, and my ex. So yeah, it wasn't easy when I like actually would fix my schedule. Then it's like, oh, I don't get to game with the guy who like would get off at work at 3. You know what I mean? It's
Mm.
the guy I play Rocket League with a lot. So like, and then my girlfriend at the time, you going to bed too early. It's boring when I come over and I have to stay up because I work the next night and I have to stay up till 6 so I can sleep until I work and that type of thing. So then the next time I'd stay up till 6 a.m. Like, so it wasn't just me, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something. Like, perfect would be going to bed at 3 a.m. and waking up at 11 a.m. That'd be perfect for me. Which I know that's not like your schedule is like, well, streaming nights just messed up. But
yeah. Speaking of that,
has that been hard to deal with lately, or?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of it is like I don't like going to bed early anyway. So even if we weren't streaming, I don't know how early I would go to bed. But
yeah,
it's definitely messing me up because yeah, I either have to work or if I'm not working, I have the kids that my youngest usually wakes up pretty early, and then there's no way I can go back to sleep once she's up. So
you never like take a nap at work or have the ability to take a nap at work?
No, I don't have anywhere to take a nap. No. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the next year, I want to like have like a body transformation though, since we were talking about weights, because like the main reason I didn't lift weights was because I played rec league so much, and I didn't want to like, as stupid as it sounds, I didn't want to like mess up how I played in rec league or whatever, or and like I knew my arms would be super sore, so that it wouldn't even like be fun to play in my rec league, because I just wasn't used to lifting consistently. So like I said, screw it, never did. But now, since I likely won't have that for a while, I do want to like, on top of the box jumps, get a weight set and just try and like lose weight and actually build muscle for the first time in my life. See where I get that type of thing, become stronger than Eric and bully him in the low post instead of him bullying me,
Later, Greg. Have a good night.
See you, Greg. Thanks for tuning in, man.
I welcome that challenge.
Hey, man, if I could get more athletic and stronger, I feel like it would just be, I don't know, a first. It'd be new. Yeah. Playing basketball would feel different. It'd come back out of the quarantine, just a different type of player,
Speaking of video games, Russell Westbrook, myself, and Baja Blasta got our first team Call of Duty dub the other day.
Baja Blasta? You playing with Baja?
Yeah, he's Westbrook's friend. So, yeah.
Isn't he? Or is that just? Isn't he in the mock off season?
Yeah, he's the Heat.
Got you. Is he even a Blazer fan?
Yeah, I think he's a Blazer fan, but he kind of likes a lot of players.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
just an NBA fan.
He seems nice, but yeah. We've been playing a lot, Westbrook and I, but we finally got our first dub together. But it was my ninth dub overall. That was pretty good.
Man, if I played Warzone, I would.
You should.
It would be good to stream, just like one of the nights, or at least like during the off season or something. I don't know. Or it could just be like an extra night a week. Stream a little bit at like 11 at night, because I know people would tune in for that. Honestly, I might be able to download it now, because I deleted GTA and I downloaded NASCAR Heat, which I think is lower in terms of file size. I was expecting you to be like, bro, wow, you download a freaking NASCAR game before Warzone.
See, Westbrook still holds out hope that you'll someday download it, but I'm pretty sure you never will.
No, that actually, the fact that he still holds out hope actually motivates me to download it. But
and even if you did, you probably would be like, "Oh, I don't want to suck, so I'm not gonna play."
Oh, I just own it. Like, That's fine. I probably would suck. Y'all got hey, you guys would be the mentors, so I need good mentorship. If I suck, it's like just a reflection of your mentorship. So if you can't blame me, just blame yourself.
So you can. That's the good thing about teams is you can still win even if you have a crappy team.
I can get carried. You guys gotta carry me to a win. Yeah. So anyway, anything else basketball-wise you wanted to touch on?
No, it's just fun talking almost 3 hours about nothing but basketball before we go.
No BS in the middle of the stream or that type of thing. Had a lot of people in here. The stream was definitely more active than the past. We had like around 50 viewers for a while there going into the early morning, so that's dope. So thank you to everybody that tuned in.
Beavis and Butthead, do you have Twitter?
Gotta get on the Twitter. It's probably
Are you
buried
on
in the tweets
Discord?
by now. I showed it on the last stream, but the last stream was long and it was only for like a minute.
I can't post the link in the chat, but
You could send it to me on Discord,
I'll
and I could
I'll send it to you.
send it to me on Discord, and then I think I can post it.
All right.
I think that's the workaround. I should give you access to this channel. I think you'd be able to post links. I'm not entirely sure. I don't even have the ability to like approve or disapprove comments though for this channel, which I do on the other channel, so I don't know what the deal is with this channel. But there's the link. Let me know if it didn't show up.
It showed up.
Okay. Even if I post links as banned, that would be weird.
Yeah.
The most basketball my friend has anything to do with was saying, when did the Raptors get good? When they beat the Bucks in Game 6. That's cool.
Esoteric Nightmare says, shouts to the Rip City 2 peeps. Are you from Rip City 2? Who is that?
Because the name is new, and I posted the link for once in the forum, which I haven't posted a link in there in ages. So I wonder if it is somebody from the forum. Tori will allow this. Yeah, you.
Yeah, you Esoteric Nightmares.
Because you said shouts to the Rip City 2 peeps. Destrom, you did not just do 100 push-ups.
He said he was going to do it a few minutes ago, but yeah.
Blaze.
Oh, okay. Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, man? Honestly, some
It makes sense that he was talking about cards earlier because he posted about cards on there.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, like, there are a couple names because I've been doing this for so long and I haven't been on the forum anywhere near as much as I used to be, that I can't tell if they're from like the forum or from the channel. Because yeah, I don't post anywhere near as much as I used to. I didn't post on there at all during the game today. It was just weird, man. I'm just not, I don't know. I'm not into it like I used to be.
Yeah, until like probably 6 months or so ago, I used to read every single post on there.
Yeah.
And pretty much commented every thread, but I have like 6 pages of unread
notifications. I'll still check my notifications.
Well, not notifications. Like, you know how it like is a darker font, like it's in bold if you haven't read all the. So like,
I think I'm kind of the same way.
There's posts with like thousands of threads with thousands of posts in them, and I haven't read a single one of them.
You know what's funny is like how much crap people would start with us. And then, I blame you for the forum. And then we haven't been posted hardly at all. And, like, the same stuff is still happening, right?
Yeah.
People blaming others for the downfall of the forum. This was wrong with the forum and all this drama and stuff. It's like, that's always going to be there, man. It's not us. You have these people that, like, witch hunt us. You know? Like, that's part of the reason why I haven't posted anywhere near as much. And, yeah.
Yes, I saw... I don't know if it was on Twitter or on the forum, but I saw HCP post about how bad the Twitters or the forum's been the last few weeks or something.
On Twitter or in the forum?
I don't remember if it was on Twitter or the forum, but he posted something like about how horrible the fights have been on Rift City 2 lately, and I just laughed because, like, I knew you and I weren't posting, so it wasn't us. So I'm guessing it had to do with politics and stuff.
Probably, but it's just like, man, whatever, you know. You're driving away good posters with all that crap, man. Like, you don't post much, I don't post much. B&M, just call him by his initials. You know, he's gone. I don't know. Just not the same. And once, if we got back into like doing pickup games and stuff like that, that'd be dope. Because I definitely I miss a lot of people from there.
Mm-hmm.
It was good to see Damani on front and center. That picture that you sent.
Yeah.
Did Tori rap yet? Nope. When I drive around delivering DoorDash, though, I do freestyle a lot, so slowly improving,
Write some stuff down.
Bro, I can't deliver it the same way if I write it out compared to freestyle, so I gotta figure out some sort of way to, like, combine the two, Because if I freestyle, like, the delivery and the tone is a lot better. If I write it down, bro, I can't, like, do it the same, You know what I mean? I don't know why you're face palming, bro. Acting like it was just automatically going to be people's mix level or something.
No. It'd be pretty hard to be that bad.
Oh, I know. But it would be noticeably better than that. Like, just because the mic and, like, audio quality will be okay-ish.
Yeah, see, I'm the opposite. I can't freestyle at all, but...
Like, lyricism sometimes just, like, random jumbled mess. Most of the time when I freestyle, I'm just, like, working on, like, my tone, delivery, that type of thing. Flow, just messing around, having fun, not trying to lose my mind bored in the car for 8 hours a day. That's not fun. What happened to the guy on the draft stream in Rip City 3-on-3? Oh, Damani. That's Damani. I
saw him on the news. He was part of the protests. He's been down there a lot.
Yeah.
And he was also... I saw him on some videos because he was right next to the mayor of Portland went down and got tear gas last night. And he was right around there in a lot of the videos. But yeah.
I want to hear Damani talk about that. Like, because he's such a good storyteller, man. Just the way he tells stories. Just all of a sudden, Mayor of Portland's next to me. Like, that probably would have been just a big WTF moment. Just a surprise, like, just to see Ted Wheeler down there. I miss delivering pizzas. I got a good dad arm for the pizzas on the chair because I don't have a pizza bag, so I put it on just like the passenger seat. So my dad arm, when I go to like break, is really, really good. It's already in form, just because I don't want the pizzas to slide off.
Kate Brown's the governor. Yeah. Yeah, I can't freestyle at all.
I wonder what Tori raps about. I would rap about... I would try and be clever and deep with it. Like, I'm not going to settle for just crap, lyricism. I'm not going to say...
I know who that's.
Casey, hold on and suck, If I was to make a diss track on anybody today, it would have been Casey Holdall's day. Tomorrow, it'll probably be Chad Doohan's day. The next day, it'll probably be... I don't even know. I might throw out, because I promise you I will drop that. Promise you I will drop that when I move out. And there will be some hidden little shots and stuff. Like, I want you guys to like actually have to like listen to the lyrics back and try and like figure out some of the things I'm saying, like be clever enough with it like that. So that is the goal as far as the lyricism. Like, I want to make it fun for you guys to like go back through and like hear some of the subtle little things I throw out there, And I'm gonna try and keep it real though. I'm not just gonna talk about how I got freaking 6 whips in my yard and whips as in cars. I didn't want that to sound bad. Whips as in cars. I don't got a Lambo. I don't got bad girls on my lap or anything. I ain't gonna be rapping about that. I don't do lean. I don't smoke weed. That type of stuff. I'm not gonna keep it real.
You got some good ideas. Diss track on Anthony Simons. Diss track on Josu. Nipple rings.
What?
Alex Wolf, he has some weird suggestions.
Yeah, got that metal in my mouth, double pun. Okay. I see you.
Isn't Alex the one that always brings up the candy necklace bet?
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like Alex is like a serial killer or something. Like he's a little too far off from me, man.
Kyle says nipple ring raps are hard, bro. Who's so? Esoteric Nightmares asks who your rap influences, like when you're freestyling. Like, who are you?
Me?
Yeah.
A little bit Eminem. It's kind of tough because I like try and like I just mess around with like different flows, different deliveries. So I like mess around with a bunch of different like just to see how it sounds, you know, or just to try and like just improve. Because I feel like doing YouTube and editing my voice so much, I've just grown more like aware of how my voice actually sounds. Because a lot of people aren't like aware of how their voice actually sounds when they're talking or when they're saying something. So I mess around with a bunch of different type of stuff. So a lot of times I'll if I had to guess anybody, it'd be like little bit Eminem, a little bit Logic, and that's and a little bit 6ix9ine. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man.
Oh, I feel like that. I feel like I lose my voice in 30 seconds trying to rap like that. Tori likes. I don't like Crip's music. I don't know where you even. And I don't look like Crypt at all. I have no idea what you're talking about, Javo. I am subscribed to him. I don't know how you.
Hating like normal.
Yeah, but like, are you going through my subscriptions feed? Like, no offense to Crypt, but Crypt is like twice as big as me. Like, I do like Crypt stuff though. Honestly, as much as I hate to say it, there's a couple songs off KSI's new album that are actually like listenable. Not in like this is like great music or anything, just like catchy stuff that you don't really think about. Blueface sucks ass. I would rather listen to Eric Brandt.
Hey,
with People's, I'd rather listen to you with People's Mix as a feature than Blueface. So.
No. I don't want to ruin my tracks like that.
Well, he just makes you look good, you know? He just makes you look sound good.
Why is everyone sneak dissing Eric?
Are we sneak dissing Eric? I didn't even realize.
First Java, now Tori.
How did I sneak diss you?
I don't know.
Shoot, man. But it was so sneaky I didn't even realize, I guess.
Yeah. My influences are more like 90s, so like Dre and Snoop and Pac and Biggie and all those kind of guys.
Yeah. I just think in order for me to like enjoy stuff, you gotta, I don't know, or if I was actually a rapper, I just want to switch up my flow a lot and just switch up the rhythm of stuff. Yeah. Like I don't like rappers that just rap with the same flow. That's why I'm not like a DaBaby fan. And I don't know. That's why I'm a bit like. That's part of the reason why I love Eminem. So like Eminem came up in like early 2000s. So like, are you a big Eminem fan or not? Not really.
I mean, he's okay. I'm not like huge into him. I mean, I like a lot of his songs.
Yeah.
But I'm not. Yeah. I do. I mean, it wasn't as good as his first album, but the Chronic 2 was, or 2000 or whatever it was. I mean, I love Dr. Dre, so I like that album, and Eminem's on a lot of the songs. But
see, I know his like last 2 albums better than that album, just because I was so young and didn't listen to that type of stuff until 2010. I didn't listen to rap until 2010, so he had a lot of bad music in between, like until his past 2 albums. His past 2 albums were really good, though, I thought.
Yeah. Beavis and Butthead says cool nuts. I actually, my freshman year in college, so this would have been like 97 or 98-ish, I remember going to a frat party in Corvallis, and Cool Nuts performed there. It was pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Just in some like frat backyard.
Frat backyard.
Yeah. But that's
dude,
how long Cool Nuts has been around.
I was looking forward to playing him again in Mercy on 3-on-3 because we had that Twitter conversation or whatever. That Dame like retweeted or something. Tori seems like a bro. Don't even ever insult me like that, Alex. Come on, man. Honestly, that was the first rap song I ever liked. Was Crank That though, but I don't like. But I was like 9 or 10 or whatever.
That's funny.
I am not a Soulja Boy kind of guy. I'm not gonna go. Soulja Boy's crazy, bro, with the freaking game systems, the rip-off like phones and stuff he was selling.
Yeah. I actually got. I was really into like Master P and all that kind of stuff. We had a radio station in college that, for some reason, would just get like tons of like CDs of every time they dropped. Because like he had 2 brothers that were on his, and like any one of his artists on his label. Yeah. And whenever they dropped a track, they would send the radio station just a ton of CDs. And so like I would get free rap CDs because I knew someone who worked at the radio station, and he would just like give me a new one every time. So like there was a guy named C Murder who I really liked, and stuff like that. But then he actually got put away in jail for real murder. But
yikes.
But yeah, it was kind of funny because like No Limit Records was my jams back in the day.
Back when CDs were actually like cool. Yeah. It's crazy. Do you like anybody modern?
No.
Because nobody. Like you don't like J. Cole, or you don't like Kendrick.
So J. Cole's got a few good songs. I like a little bit of a few 21 Savage songs are pretty good.
Okay. I'm actually a little surprised by that, but I respect that.
Honestly, I don't listen to a lot of the rappers. Actually, the one that I've heard the most is the one with J. Cole.
Yeah. That's a good song.
But let's see. I mean, I don't mind Drake. I wouldn't like buy his albums or anything like that. Yeah. But like, I mean, I don't think it's terrible either.
Drake puts out so much different sounding stuff that's hard to even like know what anybody means if they say they like Drake, because just like he like different songs sound like completely different genres of music sometimes with him.
But yeah, other than that, like, I don't know. I just like I'll just listen to old school rap versus
anything. I mean, like, I feel like anybody that came up on old school rap probably doesn't it's hard for them to like new school rap just because of how like valued like good lyricism was with old school rap, and now like a lot of the new school stuff, it just doesn't have that quality. Right. So it just seems just ignorant and stupid.
No, I did not own a No Limit Soldier jersey. But so like I got 2K recently, and I mean there's a couple of okay songs on there, but for the most part I'm like, all these songs suck. But it doesn't say, like in previous versions of 2K, like it would, like whenever a new song started, it would say who is it. So like I don't even know who most of them are. So I can't.
God, I don't even remember the soundtrack because I haven't played it in a while. I know they added songs like after releasing the game. They like added songs at some point. But
when I was bored with my surgery, there's like an MTV channel that actually plays music sometimes. They play like the same 10 videos all over and over again. Yeah. But I don't know. I just can't get into like Travis Scott or like those kind of. I don't know.
For me, it's like I just like stuff that gives me like confidence. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't know. I like as stupid as it sounds. I like songs that make me feel like kind of like badass, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I can't stand the stuff that's like super ignorant or super ridiculous, like 6ix9ine stuff. Like that stuff's way too cringe. But like there's like a fine line with like rap that's like kind of ignorant but not too ignorant and just like goes hard and that type of stuff. You know, it's very kind of like minimalistic. The thing is, like growing up, I taught myself how to play the piano and like messed around a little with guitar, which is probably something that I've never even said on this channel, which I've said so much on this channel.
That's surprising.
Yeah, so like, dude, like an hour a day, you know, middle school, freshman year of high school, sophomore year of high school, I'd just like freestyle piano. Like, you know, not freestyle rap, I like freestyle piano, and like I knew enough to like be able to like put out, you know, just decently like freestyle stuff on piano.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Trevor, shut your freaking mouth, man.
Oh, that's great.
That's just the forum meme, bro. I'm cool with that. It's a compliment, bro. You sound like he sound like he's kissing my ass every time. I'm actually cool with that. Go ahead. Yes, thanks, man. I don't think so, but I appreciate the compliment, man. Yeah, so I don't know. So like I know enough about music and like music structure and that type of stuff to like there's a difference for me between appreciating music and enjoying music, if that makes sense. So like 90s rap songs and like the lyricism and everything that goes into it, I like appreciate that a lot more than stuff that I enjoy more than that, if that makes sense. Yeah. So a lot of people, those two things are kind of the same. Like the music that they respect, everything that goes into, that's what they enjoy. For me, it's different. For me, it's just more about like a mood, if that makes sense. So yeah, I mean like Travis Scott is like a unique type of mood. I don't know. It's just the mood, if that makes sense. So that's why I don't like mumble rap though. It's just like you can't understand anybody saying and that type of stuff. Like I don't want to talk. I'd rather talk hip hop with somebody from the 90s than from like who's like in middle school or high school right now. The people that think like Lil Peep is a god and all this type of stuff. Like Lil Peep is Tupac and that type of stuff. That stuff makes me cringe. Like, or Pop Smoke or oh yeah, there you go, Wavo. I listened to Pop Smoke. No offense, it's not good. Pop Smoke is not good, Wavo. Like, I'm not gonna. It's his music, you know. Rest in peace. I know who he was before, you know, he passed, but rest in peace. But I don't think his music's good. So, dude, but like we lost a lot of like artists though. That's what sucks nowadays. Which I guess it was kind of like that back then. It just seems like the last 2 years we've lost a lot of people.
Yeah.
I can't even repeat anything Westbrook just said, man.
I think
he's quoting the lyrics. It's just,
9, yeah.
I just can't. I just can't. I can't touch that, you know. Big L. I don't know who that is, to be honest. Anyway.
8:41 p.m. That'd be so nice if that was the time.
I wish. Yeah, we gotta get off because it's getting late. We don't have 50 viewers. What are you talking about? We got not even half that. So at 23, that's dope. For the stream did well. Getting subscribers for this channel now that the season's back. It's for 215 right now. If you aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button to counteract Josu on his 5 burner accounts or whoever it is that hates us now. You know, we had a couple people say they're gonna quit on the channel and that type of stuff because we think masks actually work a little bit. So the political stuff is definitely alienated some people from us, but we don't. That's fine. That's fine by me. Eric needs to make me listen to Big L. Who's Big L?
I don't know who Big L is.
Or Big I? Is that an I? I don't know. Not knowing Big L? Okay, you got homework to do. Well, I guess me and Eric got homework to do. I'm not gonna freestyle, bro. I feel like y'all trolling. They're gonna make me search it right now. He died at the age of 25 in 1999. He was a rapper. Well known amongst underground hip hop fans for his freestyling ability, and was eventually signed to Columbia Records. How would I know who that is? He died when I was 2 years old. Like, it's not like he's Tupac.
That was, yeah.
So, anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. So, stream on what? Monday? Tuesday? How do you want to do this?
It's all up to you, whatever you want. Like I said, I'd be willing to do a post-game show on Sunday if you wanted me to.
Yeah.
I'd definitely do it Monday night.
Like, just as far as my work goes, it'd be better to do it Monday night, but there's a scrimmage on Sunday, so, like, it'd be better for the channel to do it on Sunday night, so, like, balancing those two things is tough, you know. Or we could do it Tuesday and recap Sundays and Tuesdays, if you want.
Yeah, I don't know. We can talk about it.
I think that's what I'm leaning towards, because we got Thursday night. We'll do like picks against the spread, and we'll like preview the game restart a bit, so we can do like our Blazers Up Reds live Tuesday instead of Monday, and we can recap the second and third scrimmages. You guys down with that, chat? And then we're going to sign off after this. I just want to know if you guys are down with that. If you guys think that's a good idea, because then Thursday we can do picks against the spread and not, you know, hopefully shorten up the streams. Because the thing is, we will have post-game streams once the season restarts, so these streams will make them shorter for sure. And Eric is probably, like, jumping for joy on the inside at that thought.
Of what?
See, he's falling asleep. I said you're probably jumping for joy on the inside at that thought of me of just having these streams shorter. Because you seem like you're falling asleep.
No, I don't mind the length. It's just the time. When
Yeah, no, I know.
At 10, yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm always down to run a stream or whatever. If you want me to do a post-game one on Sunday for the channel, I'm totally cool with that. I know you're busy, but yeah. I'll do whatever you want me to do.
Yeah. I don't know. It's almost like it'd be easy to just lump those two into one. You know what I mean? On Tuesday. And
I just feel like a lot of people want to talk about the Blazers, and yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of depends on what happens in the game. If something interesting happens or whatever.
I mean, you could stream on Sunday and I could call you. And I could work. And I could work and I could call you. We could try and figure it out like that. Yeah. All right. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in.
Thanks everyone for listening. It's been fun.
Yep. We'll catch you guys Sunday or Tuesday with another stream. I don't know anything about videos, you know, I'm just working like crazy, so, you know, life's just kind of hectic right now, but, you know, just stay tuned, and I might surprise you, I might not. Anyway, until next time, have a good rest of your night, thanks for watching, as always, peace out, go Blazers.